Jarrett, welcome to the Sunday Afternoon Smokes Lounge, man.
Thank you so much for having me. I've done podcasts before, but any podcast that I can smoke during, it makes my day.
Yeah. Have you ever done a podcast where you can smoke?
No, but it's never been encouraged. And so, this when I reached out, I was like, I just want to sit around and smoke cigars. I'm like, we can talk about whatever, but any chance I get to sit down, whether it's with somebody or not, and have a stick and just go, it's my favorite.
Yeah.
I love because there's never a time that I'm smoking and busy. I know friends who they can smoke while they're just doing stuff, and I can do it at times, but most of the time, mentally, if I'm having a cigar, I'm relaxing.
Sure.
And so that's like so I love it.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of you're right. You can smoke and work at the same time. I do it, whether it's if I happen to be outside working on my podcast or doing something for the cigar box, on the patio, maybe working and having a cigar, but a lot of cigars are right here in this room with somebody sitting in that chair.
Oh yeah.
And it's just, let's have a cigar and let's talk.
Oh yeah.
And it's hard to beat.
Oh yeah. It's great. And just once you train your mind that something is associated with relaxation, it makes you look forward to that even more. And so normally when it comes to cigars, I don't get to surprise have them. Like there might be a time where I'm like, this day kind of sucked. I'm gonna sit at home and smoke one, because me and my best friend and bass player, we bought the Po' Boy sampler, whatever the Cigar International. It's like 30 cigars for $50 or something, and whatever it is. And in all fairness, maybe 15 out of that is a good smoke. But those I can normally grab. But a lot of times it's like, hey, are we smoking tomorrow? Yeah, cool. And so you have something to look forward to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
you most certainly do. Well, speaking of cigars, I am smoking. This is a Monster. This is a Churchill. This is Headless Horseman by Nomad Cigars, and a friend sent this to me, and I selected for you CAO. Yeah, there you go. CAO V554 camshaft. Have you had that cigar?
I have not. I've never seen them with the black label. I've seen they have one with a red label?
Yeah, that one's a big cigar.
Yeah,
it's bigger than that.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So I've seen them, but I've never had this. I normally and you can actually tell me, is it Bella Artes or Bella Artois? Is that how you say the brand?
I don't know.
Okay,
sorry. Just
damn, because
show's over.
Yeah, show's over. Who are you? No, but no, and so that's my normal, is the AJ Fernandez one of that. And,
well, see,
and I'm so it's so rare that I get to try cigars, because I just always walk in, I'm just like, this is what I like.
Well, if I had to venture a guess, knowing it's AJ Fernandez in Nicaragua, it's probably not Artois.
Okay, that's fair.
It's probably Bella Artes.
Yeah.
Or Artes, or however
they want to say it.
I mean, Artois sounds very French.
Yeah, it does. Well, the Spanish and the French go together, and it's, we just had we had Cinco de Mayo not too long ago. That was when
Did you have tacos?
Huh? I did. I actually did, because we saw the Eagles in Atlanta on Cinco de Mayo, and so we were just driving up 85, and we got somewhere right outside of Atlanta, and I was like, let's just pull off to one of these Mexican restaurants around here and eat. So we did. But I will have tacos anytime somebody offers it.
Oh, absolutely. Tacos are never a bad option. I've got matches. Feel free to use the torch, whatever you want to do.
Since I'm on camera, I'm gonna go with the torch, because matches and me, I love them, but it takes me a second.
Sure, yeah. Do whatever you need to do, and we'll jump back into the cigar conversation in just a minute. But the way I typically go here on Sunday Afternoon Smokes is I let my guests introduce themselves. So, why don't you, after you finish lighting your cigar, of course, I'll let you take a minute, say who you are, say what you do, say as much or as little about yourself as you like. And then while you do that, I'm gonna light my cigar.
Okay, cool. Well, like you said, my name's Jarrett Forrester. I'm a full-time Americana country singer-songwriter. Tour around full-time, and I also own Cowboy Custom Printing, which is a full printing, mainly apparel and promotional items, so almost anything but paper products. And we have prided ourselves we've worked with some really cool musicians, and we've kind of grew a brand of, no matter who you are and no matter what your music style is or what your business style is, we want to work with you, and we want people to have cool merch. I have people so much, literally, they'll send me designs, and I'm like, hey, this design sucks. And I'm like, but, well, here's the thing, because I feel like there's a lot of times people just aren't honest. And the thing is, and I tell people all the time, is that I sell thousands of t-shirts a year to people and have return customers and everything else. So if a shirt doesn't look like it's going to sell, I don't want to see you spend $500 to $1,000 on a shirt that it doesn't look like somebody's going to buy. Now, the other side of that is you're like, this is what we want. I'll do it every time. I'm not gonna stop you from doing it. But what I try to do is because I love the design part, I love the graphic part of everything. So what I try to do is I'm like, hey, let me design you something. If you like it better, it's yours, and I won't charge you an art fee because you did not ask for a redesign. But if you don't like it, we'll print this and go about your way, And so I have a deep care for my customers and for people, because I'm like, I want you to have cool stuff, because I want people to come buy your stuff. I want people to say, wow, this is awesome, because that makes me feel good that you're happy with it. But it also, it's going to make you feel good that people are loving your stuff. But yeah, so like I said, I've had the print company for 5 years now. I almost shut it down, and my amazing now fiance convinced me to keep it open, and we've kind of turned it all around and built it up way bigger than it was before, and I could not have done that without her at all. But yeah, so like I said, I've been traveling around and stuff for about 10 years. With the touring, and the print company is about 5.5 years old now.
Okay.
And yeah, so that's born and raised Greenville, South Carolina. Never lived anywhere else except for that, 1 year in college that didn't pan out. But
Yeah,
yeah, just
sure. And like I tell everybody, you'll probably do most of the talking, so don't be afraid to smoke the cigar. I don't want it to go out on you. So we'll just jump right into printing, because you're obviously, that excites you. I can tell.
I love it, man, and it's such a fun business. Like there's businesses, and I have friends who do different stuff. It's just fun because every day is different. Every day is different. And even though, and yes, every day you're making t-shirts or you're making hats or you're making whatever, you're making the same thing, but you never know what somebody's going to call and ask for. And that's the coolest part. And I met some really cool people by doing it. And there's people that like one of my favorite musicians, and who I just got off tour with, Dallas Moore. And Dallas, this is my second year touring with him and doing runs with him, but I also do all of Dallas's merch. And it's so cool because this is somebody that I was listening to in high school. So a guy that I was listening to in high school, I design a lot of his merch. I print almost all of it. Anything that I do that I print, and so that's a super cool thing to me, is somebody that I look up to and admire and have for years, for a musical reason or an artistic reason. I now get to be a part of their camp.
Yeah.
In some way, shape, or form. And so, yeah, printing is it's just fun. It's fun. It's fun to make stuff that people want. Nobody's ever, you know, pissed off opening a box of T-shirts that they ordered. You know what I mean?
No, no, you're totally like, I remember whenever I started the cigar box, and because it was just a brand new company, and you know, I just started it with a little bit of money that my wife and I could scrape together.
Yeah.
You know, nobody gave me money. It was like, here, start a business.
Yeah.
It's a great idea.
Can't wait to tell you how I started mine.
Yeah. It was a long time before I ever ordered merch.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time I ever ordered something that had my logo on it.
And it's such a sense of pride because you're like, this is mine.
Yeah.
This isn't a hat. This isn't a shirt. This is mine.
Yes.
And like I love, my fiance gets on me because I have 1,000 T-shirts, and like I designed this design for us, and literally I make
like your product.
I make Cowboy Custom shirts every 2 weeks almost, and it's like it's like one-offs. It's just like one or two for me or for me and her. Like my dad will like wears them and stuff, and
yeah.
And I told her, I was like, she's like, you have so many hats and so many shirts. I was like, baby, we're an apparel company. I was like, if I don't have cool stuff with my name on it, I was like, nobody's gonna want cool stuff with their name on it.
And you have to like it's easy advertising for you. You put it on, you wear it, you walk around town, you wear it to your shows.
Oh yeah,
you know that's like free advertising.
Well, and it's like if you didn't smoke cigars, I probably would not trust you to sell me cigars.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, and so I'm like, because I do my best, whether it's on my own like personal merch table for music or just with Cowboy Custom, just to have different stuff. And sometimes, and I'll go out and I'll have it, and like I've done a run of hats of like a specific style of hat that did not sell well, and so when a band hits me up or a business hits me up, it's like, hey, like we dig these. I'm like, I'll do them for you if you like. Here's what they are, but I'll tell you, I had a really hard time getting rid of those, or these sold amazing, dude. Try these, do this, you know, just like if a band calls me and wants a white T-shirt, I will do everything in my power to convince them not to buy a white T-shirt because people like, it's such a hard market to sell, you know,
it's so dirty, so easy.
Yeah. And like I have white T-shirts with Cowboy Custom because like I have like a Cartoon Network logo and I have like a blue one, but also I own an apparel company. If it gets dirty, I'm throwing it away. I'm not thinking I'm just like, yeah, I'll make another one. But like other people aren't like that.
No, they spend money on
they spend money. And so like I want you, and I because I made a joke to somebody. I was like, you know what happens when a band buys white T-shirts? And they're like, what? And I said, you sit on them for 6 months. And I said, somebody in the band's girlfriend has the bright idea to tie-dye them, and every one of them's unique. And then they sell tie-dye T-shirts, and then you still lose money on them. I said, that's what happens when bands buy white T-shirts. He's like, my friend's band did that. I'm like, yeah, they did. They did. And I'm like, I hate that for them because they lost money on them. I don't want to see you lose money. Dude, like, I can't tell you how many bands that like I've done their merch and then dropped them off at a show, and I might have been off or whatever, and I sat behind the merch table for them and sold merch for them that night because I'm like, I want you to sell this stuff. I want you to make money. I want you to make money. I want you to have something you're proud of, and I feel like in the same sense, if somebody was about to buy a box of cigars from you, and you were just like, hey man, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not a fan of them, and I've had 3 or 4 people tell me I'm not crazy about those.
Yeah.
So if you really want to try them, take them, but you don't want to sell somebody something they're not going to like.
Yeah, that's 100%. If somebody wants to buy something from me and it made me raise an eyebrow, I do the same thing you do. I'll be like, look, bro, like if your heart is set on that, I'll order it for you.
Yeah.
If that's what you really, really want. However, as a guy who smoked a few cigars, maybe you want to think about this. The issue with these cigars you want is da-da-da-da. Make up your mind and let me know.
Yeah.
And then you do whatever the customer wants you to do.
Exactly. Like I said, I'll always say yes to you, but before I say yes to you, I'm gonna try to steer you in the right direction because you don't order and sell t-shirts every day. I do. So it's my job to help you with this process. Just like I have buddies who own tree care companies. I said, "Hey, come out here and look at all this. Can you do this?" "Yeah, we just got," I said, and I told him, I was like, "I don't even know." I'm like, "Whatever you got to do it." One of my closest friends who we work with a lot, who does a lot of our laser stuff and a lot of our 3D stuff, if he advises me on something, I'm like, "Great," because that's what he does. And I feel like that's one of the best compliments as a business owner, and I mean as a salesman, is having the trust and building a relationship to have trust from somebody for when you go, "Hey, I probably wouldn't do that, but I would do this." They go, "Okay, cool." To have that rapport and have that trust with somebody means so much more than getting one sale. If you call me and order a batch of t-shirts and it doesn't work out like you like with something that's not on my end, like if something was wrong, of course I'm going to fix it. But if you want something and you end up sitting on a product, I don't want that. Not because I want your money. I mean, there's hundreds of print companies around here. But I want the relationship with you. I want the friendship with you. I want us to build something together because like Dallas orders 100, roughly maybe 150 t-shirts a month, and it's all the time different designs. It's gotten to the point now where he's like, "Hey, I'm thinking about this." I designed something, sent it. He's like, "That's awesome," and so it allows more of an open rapport to where we can both be creative together because it's just fun. It's fun to design a t-shirt. It's fun to design somebody's logo. And people love it because they're like, "I didn't even think of that." Like, like if I come up with something to do or whatever, or they'll be like, or I'll make something about, "Or what if we did this?" And it's something I didn't think of. Well, then me and that person just had a moment of shared creativity, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. I love any chance I get to work with somebody on something that makes them happy. I love.
Well, let me ask you a few questions.
Yeah.
As a guy who's uh, printing and making merch for companies, artists, I mean, I like you make for all kinds of people.
Yeah.
What is, in your opinion, the how do I want to ask this? What is the first product merch wise any local company should spend their money on?
So it varies, and it's kind of weird. So because if you're in a band, like let's say if you're in a band, I'm always gonna recommend hats to you first. And I mean the type of hat, it probably changes. Like, some people like we do.
Dude, the Richardson is like freaking king.
Yeah, the 112 is great, but I'm not gonna recommend a 112 to like my friends who are in the hardcore metal bands because their fan base isn't buying those. Their fan base is buying the like the more foam hats. And like in the country bands, the foam hats do really well too, like the full color printing, because a lot of these bands have such intricate designs that it's really cool to do like a full print across a hat that because I can fill up like 4.5, like 4.5 by 3 inches across a hat.
Yeah.
I can't do that with a Richardson. And so, and like one of the first things I do is I look up. If I don't know the band, I'll look up the band.
I'm over here mentally judging. Like immediately David Allen Coe, long-haired redneck, is playing in my head, and I'm like, these people who wear these stupid foam hats, like country boys wearing that Richard 112 trucker hat. You know what I mean? So, and that's cool. I'm not really judging, but it's funny to me.
Well, and it's one of those things too, and I pride myself on it heavily because it's knowing, and I tell people all the time, I said, you know your customers far better than I ever will.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, and the thing about hats that I always recommend for hats first. Hats, you don't have to worry about sizing. You can order a dozen hats, and you're not going to be stuck with, one hat that's here, maybe two of these left or whatever, like on t-shirts. And so I think if you're a musician, if you're a band, I'd always recommend hats, or even if you're just trying to go for the more, we want advertising, I would do hats. And then if you're going more in depth, if you're a company that needs more than that, but when it comes to bands, you're never going to go wrong with hats, koozies, and stickers. Because with hats, koozies, and stickers, you're not worried about size. You're not worried about like gender. Like you're not doing like a woman's tee and a men's tee. You're not doing, and by doing that, you're also setting yourself up to have a $1 to $2 item, a $5 item, and a $20 to $30 item. So you're having something that anybody can come and grab, whether they just want to support you or whether they really like you. And so hats is normally the first thing I recommend to people. Just because I feel like you can get more, I think you can get a quicker turnover, I should say. You can get rid of them faster. And then once you do that, you can build up
100%.
to, once you do that, you can build up to, hey, we're going to do shirts and hats.
Yeah. I sell more for the cigar box. I sell more hats than anything. I have hoodies and I sell a few of those during the fall and winter. But and I have t-shirts. Those rarely sell. They just sit there. Hats and beanies.
Mm-hmm. Because, and two, nobody like, because I own a hat company or like an apparel company, I'm so particular about the kind of hats I like. Like I know this is like a new era, like A-frame hat. So I know I like that hat. Or there's these camo hats that I really like. Or there's this brand. I'm like, I know what I like. So like, if say I walk into the cigar box and I'm like, that's the kind of hat I like. Cool. And I think the 112 is a prime example of that. There's so many people who will buy that hat just because it's that hat.
Yeah.
And and it's cooler because it has something on it that they like. But I mean, I could go to any flea market right now and just set up blank 112 hats and people will buy them because they've just been so ingrained that this is the hat I like. This is the kind of hat I like right here.
I mean, I like the Richardson 112 trucker in general. I'm not a big fan of the...
I'm going to go out on a limb and say you're a low profile hat guy.
What is that? I'm not sure.
So like this is like a mid crown. Low profiles are just this part is just slightly lower.
I'd have to see it. I'm not the biggest fan of the mesh. I like a solid hat.
Okay, it's the bald guy thing because my uncle talks about it all the time.
I grew up playing ball and wearing a lot of fitted hats. I don't like the mesh. If you come near me and you're wearing a hat with a flat bill, I'm probably going to shank you in your ribs and walk away, and you'll never know who did it. I like a really curved bill.
Yeah,
but that's probably country boy talking.
Well, and it's like it's all preference, and I mean, dude, like. One of the, and it's because people don't like realize it, but it's like people be like, hey man, how much are some hats? And I'm like, there is like 9 other questions I have to ask you before I know, because we didn't plan anything out. We met tonight. We're wearing 2 different styles of hats that are not even probably in the top 5 most popular hats right now.
No.
But because there's so many different kinds. My brother, he loves the Richardson 158, I want to say, or 152. It's the rope one. But it's kind of, it's more.
I hate the hats with the rope across where the brim.
I'm a solid fan of a good rope hat.
Really?
Yeah. But like I said, I there's so many different kinds that I wear, but he loves those. My dad, they're like, and they'll be like, because I'll order I'll get like one of like different hats if it's a new model, or if it's a company I haven't heard of and I want to be able to like offer it, because I don't want to sell anything I've never put my hands on. And he said I had a hat identical to this in 1986, son. He said, this ain't new. And I'm like, okay, you know, but it's just there's so many different kinds. And so like when people hit me up, hey, I want to hats, I'm like, all right, well let's talk about what you want. Now, obviously the first hats I'm gonna recommend are the 112, the 168, which is like the 7 panel, or the auto like the foam, because
You know they're gonna sell.
yeah. But like I said, it all depends on what they're doing with it. I'm not going to try to sell 100 foam hats to the construction company that's going to walk around and hand these out to their employees. I'm just not going to do it because it's not what those guys want. You know, but if a guy's like, hey man, we got this like cool multicolored design that I'm like, that'd be sweet on a hat, on one of these foam hats. You know, it's like, you know, but I think that's one of the most important parts of this business, or really any business, is just learning how to read your customer and to be able to give them what they need and what they want, not what they think they want. Because I've talked people out of higher priced items by going, hey, those aren't probably what's going to be best for you. And then 2 or 3 weeks later, they come back to me, dude, these are great. I love, you know, and it's because I know, and I've learned over the years that I've done this, what's good. Like I said, at the end of the day, I'll sell anybody whatever they want, but I want to help them do something that's going to benefit them.
Yeah.
Because getting one sale off somebody doesn't benefit me at all.
So where is the beginnings of custom cowboy printing?
So
how does it all start?
So Cowboy Custom started in 2021. And it was, I started this company out of spite. So in the end of 2019, I quit my full-time job to play music.
Which was what?
I worked for Terminix, so I did pest control. My dad's done pest control for like 30 years, and so I dropped out of college, needed a job, and I went and worked at I didn't work for him, but I worked at another branch. And so I did pest control for like 2.5 years. And so it was, I quit that job after 2.5 years, October of 2019, which, if you're wondering, was an amazing time to quit your job to be a performer. It couldn't have planned it any better. But so I did that. Well, and then the world shut down. I was okay. And during that time, to be honest with you, I got bored. I got bored because I was still playing, and I was working, and I was doing good, but I wasn't necessarily touring as much. It was more like closer regional, because I was still expanding those circles. But it was definitely more. So like I said, the world shut down, and I got bored. Well, I had a friend at the time who, he had a printing business. And I was like, hey man, I said, I like sales. I was like, I don't need any kind of guarantee. I was like, and I can't even remember what the deal was, but it was a percentage of whatever I sold. Never sold a t-shirt, never sold a hat in my life. I said, just let me sell, man. I was like, and he goes, okay, cool. I went out, I bought a backpack, and I got samples of t-shirts, samples of hats. He bought me a box of business cards. And dude, I just started going into businesses and being like, hey, my name's Jarrett. I won't say the name of his company, even though it's just not around anymore, but I work for this company. We do custom apparel. If you'd like to talk, I have samples. If you don't want to talk, here's my card. Y'all have a great day. You know, I don't feel the need to pressure anybody into buying something, because if somebody wants to work with you, they're going to work with you. And I feel like eventually you'll build up enough of a name to where people come to you. And that's where we've gotten now. And so I did that. And so in 3 months, I sold $12,000 worth of products. And I sold like 12 grand worth of products. Well, he was a terrible businessman. He was always, and he still is. And he was he couldn't pay me. And it hit like 3 months. And I was like, dude, I need my money. I'm not selling anymore. And it just got frustrating. And the girl I was with at the time, and my problem is you can't tell me something and it be a slightly decent idea, because I'll be like, yeah, and then I'll do it. You know what I mean? And so we were sitting there, and she was like, everything you're complaining about that he does, right after you get done talking about how badly he's doing it, you're going, this is how it needs to be done. She's like, just do it. She's like, you can run it. I was like, yeah, you're right. I can do this. And I knew, because like I had started out doing like what he was doing, which was having contract printers and contract people to do hats. And so basically I was just a middleman. I was just a salesman. But I was like, why am I going out getting business, going to you, and then you're turning around and going to these people, and then I'm waiting, trying to get an answer from you where stuff is at, and then because you're dealing with these people. And so I called him out, and so I was on the phone. So she told me that, and then I got on the phone with his name's JP. He's my best friend. He's basically my brother. And I was like, I need a name. I was like, I need a company name. He's like, why? I was like, I'm starting a print company. He said, okay. I said, I'm done working with him. I said, we're doing a print company. He said, okay. He's like, when I used to wear this big, like, dickhead flat brim hat. He said, you always got these big hats on and stuff. Because what it was, I was growing my hair out, and my hair was so rough looking. I was like,
Yeah.
I bought a nice Stetson. That's what he said, what about like Cowboy Printing? I was like, what about Cowboy Custom Printing? He goes, yeah. Within like 30 minutes, I had a logo, a Facebook page, an email, and business cards ordered. I was like, this is what we're doing. And I went to those same printers who were doing his contract work, but they were pissed off at him because he wasn't paying their bills either. Like
What was he doing?
This guy, and he means well. He's just a horrible businessman. But it's like robbing Peter to pay Paul kind of thing. And there's always something. Well, once I get the money from this, and I can do this, and then I can get this, and I'm like, you're not doing this right. But so I started out of spite. Did not think 5.5 years later, this is what I would be doing. I was like, I'll do this, make some money. My whole thing was, I was like, I'm gonna do this, run this better than him, and then just be like, all right, cool. I proved my point. I'm done. And then he's out of business now, and I'm doing everything. But yeah, so that's really how it started. Like I said, I just fell into it. It wasn't I was like, one day I'm gonna have a print company. One day I'm gonna do this. One day I'm gonna do this. It was, I went and worked for a guy that I was friends with, and then just decided to take off with it, because all the customers that I had brought in were new customers. Like, it wasn't like I stole customers from them or anything like that, because I don't believe in bad business like that. But all the people that came with me, I went and got.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so that's how it started. Was
Well, I mean, businesses start for any number of reasons.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like what you just described is not anything new
Mm-hmm.
to anybody in the business world. You're working for somebody. Your boss is a tool. The people running the company. Well, it's an interesting thing that, it's a lot easier when it's just a super small organization.
Yeah.
It's
easier. It's way easier to branch off. If I was in manufacturing, it would be a little harder. Like,
yeah,
piss on you, I'm gonna go build my own plant. Like,
yeah, it doesn't really work though. I'm gonna go build a 250,000 square foot distribution center. I'm gonna, but the world is full of people who think that they can do a better job of running a similar company. And by the way, maybe they can. Literally, maybe they can. Yeah. And like, there's nobody stopping you from starting your own business doing the same thing.
You're one Gmail account away from having a business.
I opened a new Gmail account like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I opened the Gmail account. I bought the domain. I haven't done anything with it.
Yeah, but
I'm going to, but
is it for this, or is it for a new project?
It's a new project, but it all revolves around cigars.
It's a great thing to revolve around.
It is an excellent thing to revolve around.
This is a great recommendation, by the way, because this has a very good flavor. I know it has, and I was going to say something earlier, and I completely forgot to before we dive too deep. These ashtrays are awesome.
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna get the contact, because I would love a Cowboy Custom ashtray, because these are great.
Yeah, so that's from our lounge partner Nancy Davis at Nancy Davis Studio.
Okay.
And
And she local?
She's local.
Okay,
Yeah. She was her. I did a episode with her. It's already recorded, and I've got to edit it, and it's coming. But she's got an interesting story. But she made these. She originally reached out to me about the cigar box, which you and I only met 45 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So the cigar box it's not a brick and mortar, it's a mobile cigar service, right? And Nancy reached out to me. I think she found me through the guys over at Upstate Community Press.
Yeah. Those guys are so cool.
Yeah,
I sat down with Eddie a couple months ago.
So she reached out to me and asking me about custom ashtrays for the cigar box, because I think her husband graduated from the Citadel and a lot of cigar smokers in his circle, and she makes custom ashtrays and she said, hey, what do you think about this for the cigar box? And I wrote her back and I'm like, thanks for reaching out. Probably not going to work for the cigar box because I don't carry crystal in the trailer. I'm like, however, I'm building out the guest room in my house into a podcast lounge, and I wouldn't mind some custom ashtrays for that. And
because this is a statement piece. Like when I walked in, I was like this room is great, but that touch right there is
really,
yeah. But coming from somebody in branding, If you handed me a sticker, I'm gonna put it on something and I'm gonna love it. If you hand me a koozie, I'm gonna keep it and I'm gonna love it. But if you have branding that not everybody has, it really sticks out. Like I gave you, I don't know if you brought them in here, but I gave you a box of matches when I got here. Everybody I hand a box, because I have matches for the music stuff with a QR code on them. Everybody's like, "This is sweet," because it's literally me, DUI lawyers, and strip clubs. That's the only people handing out.
Those little books of matches.
The books of matches. But like people keep them, and I'm not gonna lie. Like, so having something this unique that is very brand specific is awesome.
Yeah,
it's really awesome.
So Nancy, she did a great job on those. She's my first podcast partner. Well, not my first. I have a couple, but like she made these custom ashtrays just for this lounge, and they look great. She did a great job. So she does all kinds of cool stuff. I'll make a connection between.
Please do, yeah. Because I would love that.
I find it fascinating that, after you explained it, it made sense. Like you come in this room and like I don't know. I think my favorite part in this whole room is the wallpaper, to be honest.
Dude, I'm remodeling my house right now, and my fiance wanted to do wallpaper in our bathroom, but it wasn't going to work out just with like the spacing of it, because like you wouldn't have seen it. But like cool wallpaper, I love it. And like I was like, because she was like, what do you? I was like, we're going to do wallpaper. I was like, I want the loudest wallpaper I can have. I was like, I want tigers and gold leaf and everything. And so like this is great. Like the wallpaper, like accent walls are the coolest thing. And
and that was a little bit of a bear to put up, only because now it's premium peel and stick.
Yeah,
it's not let me slap on and put it up. It's peel and stick, and that was from the Painted Paper. That's the website I ordered that from. I need to tag them. Hey, Painted Paper, you would do a podcast sponsorship? Here we go.
You should. You're right here.
Every episode.
Yes.
Right there. But this is new construction house. Nothing in this house is square.
Yeah.
So, trying to line up that corner but
yeah.
Thanks, Mom. Mom came over. We tag teamed it. We got it done.
Don't you love when people are good at stuff, or like people can figure stuff out?
My mom's very artsy, crafty.
So like, well, JP, I mess with him all the time because he was raised by a single mom, and he said, but like every time we had to like put together like a furniture or something like, like if you buy a new desk or whatever, like for your house or whatever, JP is the best person in the world to call. And he's like, I don't know why I'm like good at, because he's so good at like reading directions and putting stuff together. I said, I know why you're good at this. He's like, what? I was like, you didn't have a dad. I was like, dads don't read directions. I was like, you grew up with a mom. Yeah. I was like, I had a dad. I was like, that's why I'm put together stuff 2 or 3 times. I was like, because I'm not reading them instructions till that third time. I was like, he said, that wouldn't be such a problem if you knew slightly what you were doing. I was like, oh, I have no clue what I'm doing. I was like, I said, I'm just winging it at this point. Look, I was like, I'm looking at a picture trying to figure out where this piece goes.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, like, being able, and like my mom's the same way, like she's crafty with stuff like this. I'm like, thank God you're
Yeah,
here.
absolutely. So that's cool, man. You're the first person that's come in here and said anything to me about the ashtrays. I'm trying to remember how many episodes they've been out here. But I'm super excited that you noticed. When it comes to, we went through what's the first piece of merch people should order. Hats, and for good reason. Like you said, I don't have to worry about extra large, double X, large, medium, all that stuff. I mean, I had the cigar trailer out at a golf tournament last Friday, and a guy walked up and asked for a medium t-shirt. I don't have mediums, dude. I've got large, extra large, and double X. I just don't have, like in that little trailer, we got so much square footage, and most dudes don't wear mediums.
Before I leave, I'll show you a great way to, like, how you can package shirts that would be beneficial for you just in general. But I can get like 30 t-shirts in one of those little like plastic milk crate thing, like you can get at Walmart.
Yeah,
I can get like 30 t-shirts in one of those, like cleanly, like, and be able to see it. So
yeah. So you do full design though, right? Like you're talking about creating logos for
people. I'll do whatever somebody needs. I've had people send me perfect vector artwork. I want this. I want it to be this size. I want it to be this Pantone color. I'll be like, wonderful. And then like this is the only time I'm gonna name drop, but I got to do some merch for Edwin McCain last year. I got to make some shirts for him because we became friends. I used to do his pest control. I did, and then I finally talked him into letting me open for him. But literally, Edwin sent me a picture, like he sent me a picture of a T-shirt that he had. It was this grainy, dark, like image. I wish I still had it. And then he's like, "Hey," he's like, "I want to get some shirts of this." I was like, "You got a file?" He's like, "Nah, this is all I got." And so I had to sit there and reverse engineer that design. And so and then I had people going, "Hey man, I just want block letters of this." And I'm like, "Well, do you have a logo?" Because it'd be like businesses. And I mean, there's so many of these like one-man handyman operations or something like that. And these guys don't think about it. Their art is what they're doing. They don't think of it as branding, seeing my logo, whatever. So I'm like, let me design something for you, because I love doing it. So I mean, I can do as much or as little as people want. And I feel like because it's just me on the design side, I can be a little more personal. Whether it's like if it's a bigger company and they have so much stuff coming in at one time, stuff can go through the cracks if you're not like print ready. Whereas like if you come to us, I'm like, hey, let's work on this together. But yes, I mean, to answer your question, I can do as much or as little as as the customer requires.
Yeah. What are you seeing from people ordering from you as far as, like, what should they put more thought into design wise?
Symmetry, but not in the sense that it has to be like the same thing on both sides. But like people will make a design like when it comes to the hats, for example. I tell people all the time, like, hey, if you're gonna design this hat, because like I've dealt Wade Razor from Black River Rebels. He got some hats from him, but he's an artist. And I was like, hey, you're drawing all this stuff, because he does a lot of like digital and paint. I was like, do me a favor. I was like, make a canvas in your program that is like 4.5 wide by 3. And I'm like, dude, fill it up. Do whatever you want to do in this parameter. Because if there's people who they'll have a design and it's a font that's that tall and the words only stretch, so far. It's like, I can only make this so big, and you're just going to have this tiny little logo on there. And so I think people should look more into like how a design fills up a piece of apparel, because I feel like there's so many people, like you can't go wrong with a perfect circle. You can't go wrong with, you know, I mean, just looking at it from a geometric standpoint, do something that's going to fill, if that's what you want. I mean, do something that's going to fill the canvas to convey your brand, because if you don't, then it's not going to look, it's going to look like a poorly designed t-shirt. Whereas if you see somebody with something cool that fills up a shirt, or that looks level or whatever, they're like, okay. You know what I mean? How something is designed size-wise and like fill up the area-wise can really elevate how something's portrayed, no matter what it is, no matter what the brand is. But like you see these companies and like they'll have just like these logos that are like, they're super wide but not tall, and it's like, I can only go so wide. And so I'm like, you know, if you're gonna put your, you know, your company name on the back of a t-shirt, but if once I make that 12, you know, because like a standard t-shirt you can put like 11.5 to like just under 12 inches across the back of a shirt. If I make it this wide but it's only this tall, there's nothing I can do. So I think if people, when they're doing their branding early on in their business, or when it like I make a new design for my like music stuff like every 3 to 4 weeks, because I'm always doing stuff. But if you design with the intent of it filling up a space and being eye-catching, you'll be great.
That's the fun part of, if you're starting a company, like I have a logo for the cigar box.
I saw it. It looks great.
It's not in here.
Well, no, it was, you had it on your like laptop or something.
Yeah.
It looks awesome.
Thank you. I have a logo for that, but that, and then I have a logo for Sunday Afternoon Smokes, which is in the ashtray. But I can't change those. Like they're unless I want to retweak the entire thing. But if you're going to start a business and you're not sure yet what it's like, if you're, I don't know, what is it, like Jarrett Forrester music, or
so everything's either says Jarrett, or it either says Jarrett Forrester or Forrester, because Forrester is what my band's called.
Oh, well, and in honor of, I did go for Old Forester bourbon today.
It's a great bourbon.
Just because you're here, hey, Old Forester, let's party.
We can figure this out.
Yeah, let's. We need podcast sponsorship. Bourbon of Sunday Afternoon Smokes, Old Forester. Shameless plug. But like if you just have text, like you can do a lot with the color of the text and certain textures and shading and gradients. Like you said, you can make something new every 3 or 4 weeks, but it still is Forrester music and it's recognizable. But like if you make a logo and you use it, I hope you really like it, because if you use it a certain amount of time, you're going to be stuck there.
One of the coolest things that I've recommended to a lot of customers, especially, like, prime example, if we were doing something for the cigar box, one of the best ways to keep your branding, but also not get stagnant, is because on your shirts, I haven't seen them. Is it a pocket logo and a back logo? Or is it just
the guy that I use locally, we've kind of changed things up in the last few rounds. It is full logo on the back, but he kept the same font that says the cigar box and stripped away the rest of the logo. He just says the cigar box across the chest. Full logo on the back.
And see, that's great, and that's awesome, because that kind of goes with what I'm saying. Because like what I'll tell people is I'm like, hey, let's keep the same logo for the front. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, okay, keep whatever your main flagship logo is, that's going to be the front of every one of your t-shirts. But every month, every 2 months, depending on like the volume in which you're selling, every order, we'll just say, let's do something different on the back.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to match the font. It doesn't have to match. Nothing has to match, because your branding is still there, but your artistic stuff is on the back.
Right.
You know, and I think that really that really pushes people because like you see, I mean, look at brands like Salt Life. All their stuff says Salt Life on the front, like a pocket area, but that back could be God knows what. The same with hunting.
Same with like Magellan.
Yeah. There's so much stuff you can do, and that I think is a great way if you want to keep your branding. And like me, my whole thing with Cowboy Custom is we don't have branding because I'm changing it every time. And I mean, like, Cowboy Custom is the name, but like this is the metal logo design that I did. I have shirts that say Cowboy Custom that looks like the Cartoon Network logo. I have we're trying to get into some like golf tournaments, and so like we're doing these bags with tees in them, and I made a Cowboy Custom Printing golf themed logo that is going to go like kind of folded on top of it. It's like, like the old school like hang bags, like candy bags, where it's got the cardboard like stapled to the top.
Yeah.
And so like it's got that, like, because I feel like there's so many people who hold so tightly to their logo, and I'm like, hey, we can print your logo, and I want you to do it, but also if you want people to buy different stuff, you got to give them a different product. You got to give them something that they want. Or like when Stone Pizza Company in Greenville was open, I was really close with those guys, with like the management team, and so they used to do drag brunch once a month. Well, I'd made a design, but what we did is we did the design, but every month we changed the colors. There were people who were just buying to collect the colors.
Yeah.
Little tweaks like that. I can't tell you, I mean, how many shirts I have where it might be the same logo, it might be just a slightly tweaked thing in a different color. And I'm like, I like that too.
Yeah.
Because I think people who love you and who support you and who like your business, they want to wear it. They want to, support your business. And so, but you gotta, it's up to you to give them something that they want to put on. If you give some, like, I have people, they're like, man, we're just giving these t-shirts away. I'm like, dude, if I print something this big or if I print something this big, it's costing you the same. Why don't we do something cool? Because I have free t-shirts that my daughter will wear to sleep, and I have free t-shirts that I wear 2 to 3 times a month because I got a cool free, you know what I mean? And so giving people cool stuff is the way to make people want it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, I really hope that answered your question, because I don't even remember what we started with.
I don't either, to be honest.
But yeah, I mean, that's I think that's the whole thing, is give people something cool. And
well, I like being able to rotate and create, like you one of the things I learned with my interview with Duncan and Jerry is that whatever you do, be consistent at it, because the consistency, if people see the same thing over and over and over, eventually, it doesn't take very long, but eventually it clicks. As soon as they see it, they know who it is.
Yeah.
You don't have to see the whole thing. You just need to see a portion of it after you get familiar with it. Like, you can just catch at a glance and know, like you said, oh, that's Salt Life. Because you didn't recognize the whole thing, but you know enough to know that it's them. So if you're doing somebody's t-shirts and like you said, their flagship logo is on the front left pocket every single time, the marker for identity is there, but I can change up the back to keep it fresh.
Yeah, and like when I make mock-ups of shirts, like one of my things, and it's just on Canva. It's just one that I picked off of Canva, but it looks like coffee stained paper. And so like when I make somebody's mock-up, I always put that coffee stained paper just behind it, because I do a lot of darker shirts and stuff like that. And like, even no matter what color shirt it is, unless it's like a light brown, like I got a coffee shop that I do that like I can't do their shirts on that, but like every time I'm posting, the logo in the corner might change. Like, it's just the different Cowboy Custom logos that I have, but it's always against that paper. When you're scrolling on my Instagram, when you're scrolling on my TikTok, you're seeing that background.
Yeah.
And so it just gives a little bit of recognition because that's something where your brand is not at the front.
Mm-hmm.
You have, if you have a picture this big, well, you might have a t-shirt filling up this much of doing a mock-up for somebody, but your little logo's in the corner, and people might not even see that, but they're like, oh, that's one of Jarrett's posts because it's got the paper behind it.
Yeah.
And so it's just
Sure.
just little things like that can really help.
Do you have a website for Cowboy Custom?
So this
Because I tried to find it.
so this is so bad, and I sound like such a bad business owner. I had one, and all it was, and a buddy of mine set it up. All it was like a landing page that just had examples of our work, and then it had all our contact info. So if you looked up Cowboy Custom, well, he went on vacation right when because I still own the domain, but like right when the thing was supposed to like re-up on the payment.
Yeah.
And I didn't know the login because he just set it up for me. I sent him everything. And so like it lapsed, but we will have a website in about a week or so again. But all our website is a landing page.
Yeah.
And it's just a landing page that has like examples of our work, the logo or whatever, and it has where it can take you to Facebook, Instagram, or you can click a button and just call or text me directly, because that's what I want. I don't want you to fill out a web form to reach out to me. I don't want to have it set up to where all I'm looking at is a faceless email that says John Smith from Florida wants 50 t-shirts with this design, these sizes. I want to talk to you. I mean, I got people. I mean, whether I'm talking over email, but I want to know what we're doing. And two, it allows me to have a more personal connection with every customer.
Yeah.
And I like that because I like knowing my customers because I recommend my customers to everybody. There's 3 separate barbershops that I love. There is 2 or 3 separate grading companies that I love that I use. And it just little stuff like that. Like, I want to be able to know who you are. So if somebody says, hey, man, I'm looking to get a couple boxes of cigars, I don't know, they'll go, dude, you should call the cigar box.
Yeah.
Here's his number. But I can't do that if all I'm doing is just getting order forms.
Right.
And so I was very intentional when I made that site. I was like, and there's people who don't want to do that, and that's totally okay.
Well,
and
I think
there's a million other websites where they can do it.
Sure. I think a lot of that depends on like what your business is and what you're doing.
Yeah.
It doesn't work for obviously everyone.
Yeah.
My it'll be, I'm going to go ahead and say it now because it'll be fully functional by the time this episode comes out. But the Sunday Afternoon Smokes website is live. I've had a guy building me a website, and so I'm working. So there's a, there's the homepage, and you can scroll down and you can see all the things about the shows and like, because I only drop episodes once a week, every Sunday.
Yeah.
So, the latest episode will be on the homepage, and then it'll eventually go into the archive where you can see every episode.
Yeah.
And then there's the About Us, and there's a page for sponsors. Like if you're interested in maybe being a sponsor, then you're going to fill out a form.
Yeah.
Or if you want to apply to be a guest.
Yeah.
You can do that, and you fill out a form. Although, like what you just said makes me rethink that. But again, it doesn't work for everybody. Like as the show grows and gains steam, who knows? Like,
well,
I can't have I do 52 episodes a year.
Yeah.
And so I can't just have
anybody.
Right. I can't not to. I talked about this the other day with an episode I did with Eddie. Like I'm open to anyone, but I don't interview everyone.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Yeah, there's no prejudice, but it's one of those things where you're building your brand and your audience, so what your audience wants. Like, I'm not the biggest fan, but I've definitely listened to a chunk of episodes depending on the guest. But like Joe Rogan talks about that. Like that's one of the biggest podcasts in the world. He talks about, he's like, I interview who I want to interview.
Yeah.
He's like, I interview who I think's interesting. I interview who, and I'm like, yeah, that's what you should do. It's your show. It's your show. It's your audience. So therefore, if you have a cigar podcast cigars and bourbon and business, you're not gonna bring on you know, you're not going to bring
I'm not going to bring on the cashier from Publix.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I love your show. Could I be on there?
Yeah.
No offense.
No offense, but there's nothing you're bringing to me that my listeners are going to learn from.
Or that I'm going to learn
Yeah,
from.
because like I was telling you when I got here, I love Duncan and the guys at Blanket Fort. I've done some stuff for them too, and I've talked to the guys at the the Upstate Press, and but like I was listening to that podcast and thoroughly enjoyed it. I look forward to listening to, because you had the owner of Magic Rooster on.
Mm-hmm.
And like obviously I love tattoos. My whole leg is tattooed.
Like, I'm looking at this. I've been thinking this for the last 20 minutes. This is a cigar band.
Yeah, like I said, I love it.
It's a cigar. I don't know exactly, but
Yeah.
It's oval. It's got the strap all the way.
Yeah. I mean,
Is that what it is?
No. So
Okay.
so I'll tell you. So the side note was like, what this is very popular in traditional tattooing. It's just like normally like the end of your legs or whatever to kind of cap off a sleeve. That's what this was supposed to be. That's like this flower right here. But the guy that I was going to at the time, and I was at an impressionable age. I was very early on getting tattoos. And so there was times that I'd be like, and like, I don't regret any tattoo that I have, but he was like, I think this would be cooler. And I was like, okay. And I'm like, I love this piece, and it's something different, and it's something, but it's that.
That's a big gamble, man.
Well, and I knew
because you're putting it on your body and you can't change it.
Well, and I mean, like I'll show you, like, so this is like my whole leg, and like I'm not gonna tell you that there's thought behind a lot of this stuff. There's not. It was, this is cool. And like I have stuff on my leg that, like, I have a flower that I got in California, and it's meant to represent the state flower, because I got flown to do a private party in California, and I was there for like 36 hours. I landed, found a tattoo shop, got tattooed, and then played, and then came home.
God, what's the name of that flower? I know it because
I think it starts with a P.
The poppy.
Yep, it's meant to be a poppy flower.
Yeah,
and then like I have a little sci-fi little phaser gun that I got in Illinois, that it was on like one of the guy's sheets, and like in Texas, I got
let's go. I'm a Texas man.
I love it.
I love Texas.
Well, so like I have an armadillo. I have an armadillo with a cowboy hat on my leg.
Fun fact: armadillos can carry leprosy.
So this is no joke. I learned that 2 days ago, because I've been on tour, and for some reason, no matter where you're at, there's always a dead armadillo on the side of the road. Like those little bastards. I don't know why they get hit so much, but they do, and they're just laying there. And I remember I was on the phone with my buddy, and I was like, I kind of want like a cool armadillo shot. I thought that'd be cool, like in the shop. He's like, they got leprosy? I was like, nah. He goes, they can carry leprosy. He's like, he said only them and humans. And I was like, what? And like we went through like a 10-minute rabbit hole on armadillos. So it was wild that you said that. We're like, koala bears, it's chlamydia. They have like a koala bears, like the koala bears carry a certain form of chlamydia, and like, but it's wild.
You never know what you're gonna learn on Sunday afternoon.
I could teach you all kinds of stuff. I was like, I didn't ask before, because normally I ask what kind of podcast are we in, because like I have like a horrible mouth, and I was like, I don't know what we could do on this podcast. So I was like, I've been like really reserved, because like there's some people, like I walk in, I'm like, oh yeah, man, we're gonna have, but because I got all kinds of awful stories.
Well, I mean, I don't restrict people to pretty much anything. But I just find generally the topics we wind up talking about usually stay pretty clean.
Yeah.
But and I don't here's what I found that I do. Like I mark when it comes to YouTube, I mark my YouTube podcasts as not made for kids, simply because we drink and smoke on the podcast. But I do not have it restrict the podcast to people 18 or older, only because I found out the other day, I used to do that because we drink and smoke, and I just try to be sensitive, not because I
started this at 17.
Yeah,
smoke early, kids.
Well, not because I I do want to respect. Like, one of the things I said to Eddie was, I try and have a good show, and there's a lot of business talk, a lot of entrepreneur, and a lot of like, you can do it. Just go for it.
Yeah.
And I want the show in the future to be like one of those things where a dad has a 15-year-old kid and is like, hey, listen to this. You'll learn something.
Yeah.
And so, but I did find like to embed my YouTube, videos onto my podcast website.
Mm-hmm.
If I restrict it, it won't play there. You have to go to YouTube and sign in
Because it has to
because
be.
there's the restricted.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, it's not made for kids, but do not restrict.
And I always, no matter what song or whatever, like, because I post on YouTube very frequently, I post on you extremely. I always put not for kids just because I don't know, and it's probably, I don't know if ignorance is the right word, but I don't know if I put yes, it's for kids, where it puts it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, don't get me wrong. If a kid hears me sing this cover song, it's not harmful. And no, I don't have any restrictions on it. But I'm also like, I don't want this to come up in some kid's Miss Rachel playlist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because it doesn't go there.
Yeah. Like, my deal is and I have kids now.
Yeah.
They're getting older. My youngest kid is 13, but
Mine's turning 12.
I want to respect what young kids might come across if it's on my channel. Now, my show's not full of, we don't get into like sexually explicit topics and like really deep, dark stuff. But like I said, we drink whiskey, we smoke cigars.
Exactly.
So I try and be sensitive.
It's very PG-13.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's PG.
That's a good way to.
Yeah, very PG-13, and that's, hey, like I said, I have my daughter will be 12 next week, and
Nice.
So yeah, I've been her dad for 2.5 years, and so I love it.
Yeah.
I always swore that I was never gonna have kids, and like,
They change your life,
dude.
man.
Like, it's the coolest thing in the world, and my favorite part. And every father will understand this, and every father of daughters will understand this. My favorite part is watching my fiance get mad at her for acting like my fiance. I love watching that attitude that I get just go straight to her. I'm like, this is great. I'm like, which one of y'all wants ice cream? One of y'all's getting rewarded. And like, here's the thing. No man's going to admit that, but I don't care. I'm not afraid of your wife. And so, but I love it because she'll sit there and she'll go, oh, she's just doing this. I'm like, yeah, you did that to me 2 days ago, baby. And I love, and like, she does dance and violin, and it's so cool because I'm just down front every time.
Yeah, being a dad it's the best, man.
Dude, it's so cool
It's the
because
best.
I'm watching her little personality develop. And like, because I wasn't there to see the first part of her first personality develop, but I'm getting the cooler part because I'm getting the adult part, the part what shapes you as an adult. You have what shapes you as a person very early on, but like what shapes you as an adult and how you see things, And so like it's really cool, man. And like, she's a great kid. And it, like, one of my buddies, he's one of my best friends. He lives in Louisiana right now, and he is with a woman who has a 12-year-old daughter, and so like we're learning this at the same time at the same rate. And we were on FaceTime one day because I work pretty late at night, and then he is the general manager of a gentleman's club, so he works like almost third shift, and so he was sitting there cooking breakfast, and she's got a 12-year-old and a 4-year-old. And he's talking to this 4-year-old. He's all sweet and he's doing this. And I was like, we have done so much together, so many illegal things. He's actually the first person I ever smoked a cigar with. I was like, illegal things and just wild things. I was like, and now we're trusted with a person's life. Like, we're in charge of this. I was like,
There's some criminal there.
I was like, I don't know who decided this was a good idea, but like we're both, like I said, we're both girl dads, and we love it.
Yeah, I've got two boys and two girls. You said something a minute ago. You said you started smoking when you were 17.
Okay, so I'll tell you the story.
Yeah, I was gonna ask.
I'm not gonna mention the store because the store's still around, and I still do buy cigars from them. But I'll tell you after. But so what it was is me and Eric is his name, and we got in our head we wanted to try cigars. Our dads didn't smoke. Nobody around us smoked cigars, but we got in our head we were going to smoke cigars. And back in my day, you could smoke at 18. But you know, because we were 17 years old, and I've always been a salesman in some capacity. And I said, I bet I can get them to sell us cigars. He's like, dude, there's no, he said, we don't have, I was like, don't worry about it. I said, I bet I can get him to sell us cigars. I said, just don't say anything. I was like, just go in there. I said, follow my lead. Cocky 17-year-old, you know, and I walk in, I'm sitting there, I'm talking to the guy, and I was like, hey man, I was like, you know, we just want to try some stuff. I was like, we've never really done it. I was like, we just kind of want to see, you know, just maybe we have friends who are into the hobby and are into it. I was like, we just kind of want to try it. I was like, but we don't want to, you know, we want to learn. And he's like, oh, okay, cool, man. So he takes us into the humidor. He's showing us everything, talking to us. And then we start. I was like, yeah, man. He had a tattoo. I was like, oh, dude, I dig that. He was a huge like Game of Thrones guy. I had never seen Game of Thrones in my life, but I had a 10-minute conversation about it with him. We're going and going. So we get done. Eric is shaking because he's like, we're going to get busted. We're going to get busted. We go, and I know what I smoked too. And I wouldn't smoke one of those now if you handed it to me just because it's so light. But it was the, is it Camacho? Is that the brand?
Yeah.
Okay. It was the Camacho, Connecticut in the little yellow tube.
Yeah.
And so
that's a good cigar.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like
it doesn't burn my lips.
I prefer the heavier stuff.
Yeah.
But for a Connecticut, it's good.
Yeah, yeah. And so I had two of them in my hand. I walked into the counter. He's like, "Hey," he said, "Can I get you guys anything else?" I was like, "Yeah, man." I was like, "Just some matches or whatever you want to throw them in the bag." He's like, "Okay, cool." We go, we swap our cards. Does not ID us one time. We walk out. We go down there. He's like, I was like, "I told you." That's like confidence, man. I was like, "You just got to go in with confidence." But the second half of the story is really the funny part because I mean that we were just two kids that got lucky. The second part is okay, we had the cigars. Nobody told us how to smoke them.
Oh, geez.
So I had like a building that I hung out in. I had like a pool table and stuff in it, and like that I hung out in high school. And he took his home, and I took mine home. And I waited till I could get like by myself. And I opened the thing up, and there's one end cut off, and there's one end not cut off. And I was like, well, I think I got to be able to smoke out of this end. So I Google, how do you do it? And I'm like, I don't have a cutter. So I look around, there's a pencil. And so I make a horrible hole in the end of this thing. And then I can't get it to light with the matches. And so I'm sitting there with a big lighter, just choking on this cigar.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but even after that horrible experience, I was like, this is really cool.
Well, at 17 years old, it makes you feel like a man smoking cigar.
Yeah, I was like, this is cool. And then when I turned 18, I started going in there, like, and then I started like getting actual recommendations and sitting down and like learning the art of it. And,
well, here's the deal. Like this, I like this cutter. This is a Rocky Patel guillotine. It's really nice.
Yeah,
I like this one. I won this in a online sweepstakes with Rocky Patel. But
I've never smoked one of those. But I've heard
you never smoked a Rocky.
No, and everybody talks about how great they are, but I've never had one.
He's got a lot of options. You will like the Rocky Patel Decade.
Okay,
I don't have any, and I'd hook you up with one, but I don't have any right now. Do you think that the people in the factories in Nicaragua, in Honduras, in Ecuador, in Dominican Republic, the guys in the fields, you think those people use cigar cutters?
No,
they don't. Cigar cutters are very high society. They're very like snooty, probably American, very modern.
Well, like
Like
I've
the
seen people
original-
like peel a cap
you
off.
can
Like,
peel it off with your thumbnail.
yeah,
You can bite a hole in it. You can like stick a nail,
yeah,
just whatever, something sharp and pointy, and just punch.
yeah,
And they're like cigar cutters. It's an accessory that I'm not sure when it came about, but they're, like I said, they're very like high society. They're not, so for you to just find like whatever's handy and stab a freaking pencil in it, whatever works. Like you just have to create an airway.
yeah. You know what I think? You were talking about high society, and this is something, and like because I don't really smoke in my house, like I don't smoke in the house, I always smoke outside. But the one thing that I would like love to have if I did, like if I had something like this,
Yeah.
because I'm assuming you smoke in here whether you're podcasting or not.
I smoke in here whenever I'm podcasting, working on the podcast, working on the cigar box.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, you have a designated space for your hobby.
Correct.
And so the thing that I've always thought was so cool in it, and I think they really died because smoking inside died in general,
Yeah.
but as a table lighter.
Okay, well, I like
Just those like I know that I think it was Alec Bradley has like a cool
I
one.
have one.
Yeah.
It's
Like
in the trailer
yeah,
outside.
and it's just like I'm like
It's a little stainless, little chrome looking.
yeah,
thing.
and I'm like just to be like let me turn this little thing up and just like to me it adds a classness
Yes.
to it, and I'm just like that's the one thing I was like I told Alex, my fiance, I was like if I ever have a space, because like I have a shop that I work in, but like because I keep apparel and stuff in there, I don't want to smoke in there, and just
it's not a good idea.
and so but that is something that I'm like I just love. If I see somebody one, I'm like that's classy. And like they were popular in the 50s, 60s, and 70s because everybody smoked cigarettes in their house.
Yeah.
It was, you had one on the dining room table or the coffee table because you sat there and read your paper or had your coffee or whatever. But smoking was such a part of life that it just fit in. And
It was everywhere. He smoked on airplanes. The news anchors smoked on TV.
Yeah.
Like, it was bananas.
I'm a huge baseball fan.
Me too.
I got to go to 2 games this past week because my goal is to check off every stadium, and I'm at 9 of the 30 right now. But I told Alex, I was like, and I don't think anybody's ever done it because everything is so anti-smoking, which I understand from a health perspective and everything. And with cigarettes, like this is obviously a different type of experience and a different type of thing. But I said, if they could just have a section to where I could sit there and watch my Braves play at the stadium, I said, I would pay $25 a stick to just sit there and smoke while I watch this game.
I've often thought, just in my fantasies in my head, that if I was just a like super rich, had more money than I knew what in the world I could do with, and I owned a baseball team, like state and local laws, like screw you, I'm gonna build in the owner's box. I'm gonna freaking smoke in there.
Yeah.
I'd like if they had, with proper ventilation, a private box where you could smoke cigars. I was with my friend Jason Jansen from Broadwater Shrimp the other night, last Tuesday. He was celebrating 5 years for his company, and we were in the Spinks box at the Drive.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just want to have a cigar in here.
It just makes,
dude.
Yeah, there's been very few times in my life that I've sat somewhere enjoying something, going, a cigar would make this better.
Oh, every time. All right, give me I've got 3 that I'll shoot you. Give me a couple of your best settings to have a cigar.
I'm going to tell you one that I had last year. So last year, me and Alex, we spent a month in Europe. It was something we saved for. It was a dream of mine. I was like, because I love traveling. I want to see anything and everything. If there's something to go to, any roadside attraction I'm going to go to. We were in Europe. We were walking down the street. We had been engaged maybe a month because I got engaged in September. and they have like the bodegas and the stuff like that. It is, God, I think we were in Spain. I am walking, dressed nice. I mean, like, jeans, boots, dress shirt. I'm walking.
Did your dress shirt have like Cowboy Custom
No,
Printing?
the one thing I do want is dress shirts with it just embroidered. So bad.
Embroidered on the pocket.
Yeah, just because I love it. But we were walking. Yeah. We had a nice meal. We got done, and they had a tobacco store. And I just walked in. I said, "Hey," I said, "Can I get one of those?" He's like, "Yeah, man." So I paid like $4, $3 or $4 for this cigar, and he gave me a book of matches. He cut it for me before I left, and I am walking in Spain.
I want to go to Spain.
It's beautiful.
It's on my bucket list.
I have a nightclub story I'll tell you. It's not dirty, but I just don't need to tell it. But I'm literally walking, holding hands with the woman I love and the woman that I want to spend the rest of my life with. She's got a solid wine buzz going on. I got a cigar, and we're walking around, and there was a place that sold like 99-cent cheesecake. And we get this cheesecake, and we were sitting on the side of the curb, and I'm smoking, and we're each eating a piece of cheesecake, and I was like, there is nowhere else I want to be right now.
That's a perfect moment.
And it was like, that trip was amazing every which way possible. But that moment, I was like, God, I was like, this is it.
That's you're beyond like the ideas in my head. That's like a whole very special thing.
The other side of it is what we're talking about, where I can be sitting there watching the Braves beat the ever-loving hell out of the Phillies.
Let's go.
Which does not happen often, but it's fine. It's fine. And watching the Phillies, I'm sitting there, I'm eating a hot dog. She's sitting beside me because there's like, it's very rare that I'm having something where I don't want her there because I truly love this woman so much. And she's sitting there with her hand running through the back of my head, and I'm just sitting there smoking, watching this game.
Yes.
But like that right there, like I said, smoking during a sporting event, and I guess it's because you probably remember a time where you could smoke during a sporting event.
Sure.
I have never in my life been anywhere that I could smoke.
I say remember, like I'm 46, so like I'm still not old enough to remember.
Not like smoking on airplanes, but like I vaguely remember when you could walk inside restaurants that had smoking.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming
you can smoke at the bar.
Yeah, so I'm assuming like even before then, an option was there. Maybe not inside like a hockey arena, but like
you had an open air baseball stadium. They probably had a smoking section.
Yeah, and you could sit there. But like so that, like I said, smoking there. But like, I think it's because, and it might be from the ritual of it. It might be from the nicotine running through your body. It might be because of just how you feel. But just having that extra peace. And there's a lot of people who get that kind of feeling off like a high-end bourbon, that they get to sit down and like maybe have like, because I know like Bon Secours, like they have like a box where like you can get like liquor drinks, and so you can sit there and enjoy a drink while you're doing it.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's kind of a similar scenario. But yeah, anywhere that I can just be where I don't have to think, and if I don't have to think, and I just get to sit there and have one, that's what I love.
So mine are, and I said this the other day, I think, to somebody, but the first two are very related. Cigar on the top deck on a cruise ship.
I'm a big cruiser.
I'm cruising in this coming Sunday.
Really?
We're out of Miami.
Are you okay? Are you a Carnival guy, or are you?
Well, I've only ever been on one cruise. This is my second, but we're on Carnival.
You'll love it, dude.
Yo, we're gonna have a killer time. It's me and my wife, my two youngest kids, and my mom and dad. 7 nights.
Do you like to gamble?
No. I don't have enough money to gamble.
Oh man, that's my problem. I get cheap cruises because I gamble too much.
Yeah. So, top deck of a cruise ship, or like Lake Hartwell, Lake Huey on a pontoon boat.
Oh yeah.
Number 2, and these are in no particular order. Number 2, with the boys around a fire pit in the fall. But number 3, I think this is probably even better than fire, but late fall in a hot tub with a cigar.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Because like even just on like a physical side, because the nicotine is going through you or whatever, and then you have the
That's where it's at. Unrelated question: who do you dislike more, the Philadelphia Phillies or the New York Mets?
So I dislike the Phillies because the Phillies are always the one that knocks us out of the World Series, or like either they always take us out of the playoffs. But if I had to pick a team that I dislike, because I'm a huge hockey fan, so I don't like the New York Islanders because I'm a huge New York Rangers fan.
I hate everything New York.
That's fair. That's fair.
Like
I'm a Rangers fan for the dumbest reason possible. Like it's such a okay, this is what we're doing now kind of thing. So for those of you who don't know, we're in Greenville, South Carolina.
We're in South Carolina.
Yeah, South Carolina. And so the minor league hockey team, before they were the Greenville Swamp Rapids, they were the Greenville Road Warriors. Well, I was about 15 or 16 years old when they were the Road Warriors. Well, the hockey works just like baseball does, where there's minor leagues. Well, the minor league or the affiliate of the Road Warriors, the first game that I saw was the New York Rangers. I saw one hockey game. I'm like, this sport is awesome. I love this.
This is my team.
And I was like, well, who do I pull for? I was like, well, they're under the Rangers. I guess I'm a Rangers fan.
That's not dumb.
Well, well, here's the thing. They left the next year.
Yeah.
So like the thing is I was 15 years old and now I'm almost 29 and I'm still pulling for the Rangers. And everybody's like, why are you a Rangers fan all the way in South Carolina? I'm like, just kind of made the decision and stuck with it, man. I was like, I'm not. And then I loved the Las Vegas Golden Knights for another kind of dumb reason, which was because during COVID, bars had to be closed by 11. So all of my shows were like 6 to 9 or 6 to 10 or 7 to 10, whatever. So I would get home by like 10:30 or 11 o'clock every night. Well, because they're on the West Coast or close to on Western time or Pacific, whatever it's called, I could get home and watch Las Vegas play like the last two periods because they were still playing.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I like these guys too because hell, I can watch them play.
Let me rephrase that. When I say I hate all things New York, I'm talking sports teams.
That's fair.
Yeah. I've been to New York City. It wasn't my favorite experience, but I do have a plan to go with some friends who are from there. We're going to hit all of the really good food places, not the tourist traps, but where the locals go. But like the New York Yankees, hate them. The Mets, hate them. The Giants, football, hate them.
Well, that's New Jersey.
They just the New Jersey. I hate them too. The New York Giants, the New Jersey Jets, can't stand them. The Dodgers, the Phillies, the Eagles. I think I've figured it out. I think I finally figured it out about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago.
It's not the teams, it's the fan base.
Well, it's not that. It's that, like I'm a pretty conservative guy.
It's fair.
And most of them, obviously, it's the major metropolis areas that have the money to have sports teams, and most of them are like super liberal.
Yeah. I get it completely.
So it dawned on me.
It's hard to find those teams in those organizations that you feel align with your values enough to give them support.
Yeah, I'm a big Braves fan by virtue of the fact that my dad's a Braves fan, so we grew up in a Braves household.
Yeah.
My dad's from Louisiana, where there is no team. I grew up in Southeast Texas, 90 minutes from the Astrodome, where the
I got to go there last year.
Yeah, but my dad grew up in Louisiana, and and back in his day, like there were two teams on TV, the St. Louis Cardinals and the Braves.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandfather was a big Cardinals fan, and my dad decided he was going to be a Braves fan, and so we're just Braves people.
Yeah.
And
so I'm a Gamecock fan, but I haven't taken a single class at USC.
Yeah.
But I sit there and pull for the Gamecocks, and I love it, and I watch them play, and but I watch it because my dad told me when I was 3 or 4 years old, he's like, watch Gamecocks. All right.
Well,
cool.
see, that's part of the privilege of being a father.
Yeah.
You get to indoctrinate your children into your team fandom. That's like part of the rite of passage of fatherhood.
Yeah.
You get to just lay it in there, and if your children decide to change their sports affiliation as they grow up, then you can disown them or
Exactly.
whatever. My daughter, my 13-year-old, she told me the other day, because I've talked to her about her future self and certain boys that she might bring home to meet me. I'm like, don't be bringing blah 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 to my house. And she said, I've already thought about it, Dad, that the guy that I bring home to you, I'm going to tell him before we visit, you have to like cigars and the Atlanta Braves. You have to like those two
Here's the
things.
thing. That's
I'm
two
like-
great qualities of
I'm like-
men.
You're doing well.
See, mine. I pick on her because I brought her with me on one run where we were down in Charleston, and so it was just me and her, and she had seen me play, but she had never seen me be on the road and play, because like on the road is a different thing, because it's like, wake up and I'm gonna answer some emails. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna, like she had never spent a whole day with me, let alone a whole week with me, to see like, oh, you don't just walk into a bar and play. She watched me do everything, and she was sitting there, and she actually started rolling my cables and like helped me load stuff in, load stuff out, and like she watched me one day. I mean, this was just another show. It was like 100 degrees, and I mean, me and the band. I mean, because I'm the second smallest member of my band by like a lot, and I don't feel like I'm a small man, and so like we're just drenched in sweat loading in. And I was like, see, baby, lawyers don't have to do this. I was like, because I told her, and I messed with Alex too. I said, the thing is, I said, either she's never going to want a musician or she's really going to like him. I was like, but the only thing that's going to bother me, I says, I'm showing her all these cool bands, because I show her all these like cool like indie bands and like Americana, Red Dirt bands and stuff like that. Bands that are playing like 200 and 300 cap rooms, and whatever. And I'm like, she doesn't think this stuff's cool. I said, but there's going to be some long-haired boy that shows her one of my favorite bands, and she's going to be like, have you ever heard of this band? And I said, that's what's going to piss me off. I was like, the fact that somebody's going to introduce her to something that I wanted to introduce her to that's cool.
Yeah.
But no, I told her, I was like, and you could, and like I said, because of being a new father, I ever since I met her, I've been trying to be super intentional about this. And I told Alex, I said, she's going to want to be treated the way that I treat you. I was like, so as long as I treat you good, and as long as I treat her good and show her, hey, and I was like, she'll be fine. And I said, the thing is, I said, I've been very fortunate. I said, the girls that I dated, I never had a dad who threatened to rough me up or any of that stuff. I was like, so I'm not going to do that, because I feel like that would be wrong.
Well,
And I said, my best friend and bass player and her uncle, I said, is 6'4", 340 pounds. I said, and we'll just reenact that scene from Bad Boys where I'm just calm and he's just in the back doing whatever. I was like, it's fine. I was like, but that's the thing is, I mean, I tell Alice all the time. I said, I'm just gonna teach her the way she's supposed to be loved, and at the end of the day,
that is it. I've said it before on this podcast, but I'm going to say it again. You as a father. And I had this very conversation with another friend of mine. Like, I want to love my daughter in such a wholesome way and show her what real masculinity and what real masculine love towards a female is, so that when she's 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and guys are approaching her, she is able to easily spot the difference between what's
100%.
love and what's just interested in my body.
Yeah. And and I mean, it's so true, because like, and my thing is, and I'm a big, like, I'm a smart ass, and I'll sit there and crack jokes to you because I do it for a living. People say something, I'll say something straight back, and they'll be, but you got to be fast. And so I'm like, and so Alex, like, I like, but like with Skyline, that's her name. I was like, I'll pick on her. I constantly pick on her, like little stuff, and just do. And then now she's got where she's starting to be able to respond, because I'm like, second somebody says something to you, you're gonna be able to say something back, and that's what I want. I want you to know how to be loved, and I want the first time that somebody says something slick to you, you say something right back, and put them in their place, because it's just you got to be so, because you got to train these girls to be tough, because like I mean, and I try to do everything. I try to make everything a lesson, any time. It just and it does, it's just me sitting there going, hey, this is what happened.
Yeah.
And this is how we can avoid it. Whether it's positive or negative, but it's like, this is what you can be. And you never have to let somebody treat you a certain way or do something that you don't want, because you're valued and you're valuable.
Right.
And you're and so it's like you're loved no matter what. So you don't need to go settle for a kind of love that you don't want, because you have it.
Mhm.
And when it's time for you to find that love, then you'll know.
Yeah, well, in talking about like threatening to rough up some young buck who's talking to my daughter, and I was talking to my friend about that, and he's like, cause I talking about like wondering what kind of guy my daughter's gonna bring home, and he goes, nah, he goes, look, I know you. I know the kind of guy you are, the kind of dad you are, and I know how you love your daughter. Like you put so much love into her. She's going to know better when it comes to choosing who to bring home. She's not going to bring home a clown because you've already showed her.
Yeah.
And I hope and pray to God that is true.
Yeah, I mean, and because too, it's a reflection of you, because not the comment always is a girl goes and finds a guy just like her dad. And I've taken that to heart, and see, like, I didn't learn that necessarily like from my dad, because my dad raised 2 boys. His dad raised 2 boys. Like, it's all been boys in the family. So there's times that I'm super hard on her, and I have to stop myself and go, you gotta be,
Not a boy.
she's not a boy. You can't, and not to say that she's weaker, but I have to think about it in a different way. I can't go sit here and be like, all right, well, you're going to shovel mulch all day till you know what I mean? And like, you have to, but the thing is too, is I also, and I spoil her. I do whatever boy that comes to my house, I'm like, God, I hope you got a good job, son.
Oh my gosh.
Because she's 11 years old and will tell you exactly how she likes her steak.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I'll sit there, but because Dad sits there, I literally, when we were on the road, I was like, hey, let's go to the grocery store. Let's go get steaks. So me and her went, we picked out steaks. I got steaks, sides, cut up fruit, and like me and her sat and just like cooked, and she's sitting there, and I'm like, yeah. That's right. You're gonna, and that's the thing is, and I think it's the truth in anything is, like, she is now, even though I've only been here for 2.5 years, she is now becoming a reflection of me. So therefore, I have to look within and go, okay, I have to be better to show her. My dad is one of the greatest men I know, and I can tell you right now, there is very few things that I've learned from him that he directly told me.
Oh no, you learn by watching.
I watched how my dad holds himself in business, now don't get me wrong, he can party and tear it up with the best of them. I mean, I've seen it, but like, I've watched my dad walk into a room and everybody respect him. I've watched him be loved by a community. I've watched him help people. I remember, like, vividly remember. So one of the things that is very near and dear to me is, for the past 4 years, and it's gotten bigger every year, is I do everything I can to raise money, and very thankful that I have friends and fans who will donate to this, to raise money to get kids Christmas presents, because I'm a firm believer that just because a parent made a bad decision, and I'm not saying bad parents, because it's not necessarily always that. There's all kinds of scenarios, but a child deserves presents on Christmas. And so I, every year, have raised money to get kids Christmas presents. And Alex was like, she's like, why is that? She's like, it's great that you do that. And I don't advertise it. I don't post it. Like, I make a post, because my post is always, hey, looking for an angel tree around. And normally I'll be like, I'll get a message, hey, I know somebody that needs this. And I'm like, perfect. And like, when it's done, the only people who know what gets bought besides the family that it gets bought for is all the people who donated. Because I'll put them in a group chat and go, hey, this is what we got, just to let y'all know this is what all the money went towards, to never. But I remember so vividly my dad coming home around Christmas time with bags, dude. Like, he would go to like Ross and Walmart stuff, and he would go, the one that he loved was He would do it at the Harvey's restaurant, but my dad would do like 2 to 4 kids off an angel tree every year. Didn't make a big deal out of it. Didn't make, and the only time I saw it is if I like cabinet catch him. He'd be like, yeah. He said on the angel tree, this little boy, it said his thing. He said all he wanted was a new pair of shoes, and so my dad would go buy a pair of Nikes, but I saw that. So now as an adult myself, I'm like, this is what we're doing. This is what you're supposed, or even before, because I was raised in church, was the shoe boxes, and packing the shoe boxes. Is it Joshua Tree or the red and green shoe box that churches do? I can't think of what it is, but we did those, and so I saw my parent do that, and I saw somebody that I respected do that. So now I feel the need to do it. But when I'm doing that, I take Skyline because, and it's like, but my dad never said, you need to take care of people.
No.
You need to do this. It was, I'm watching my dad do something, and now I do it.
Yeah.
And, I mean, he's passed on wisdom to me with different stuff. And like, there's different things, like the best piece of advice, the two like sayings, like I heard my dad say to me, and I tell everybody, especially business owners, because like I said, I've been a business owner for 5 years. There's people who have years on me, but there's people that I can, but helping in any way possible. But the two pieces of like wisdom that I remember my dad directly saying to me was, the longer you work with your back, the less money you'll make. And it stuck with me. And he only knew it because an old man told him.
Yeah.
But the other piece of advice, it's literally the best piece of advice I can give anybody in business. He said, I missed out on a lot of great opportunities because I was afraid to take the lunch. He said, I got invited to lunch by all kinds of companies, all kinds of people who wanted to help me grow. He said, but I was where I was at, and I was making good money, and I stayed there. He said, but I missed out on a lot of good stuff because I didn't take the lunch. And that piece of advice has stuck with me. That's why anytime somebody calls me, anytime somebody's just like, hey man, I got some questions about something, cool, meet me here. Or if I get invited to go do something, if I get invited to an opportunity, whether it's an opportunity I'm going to take or not, I'm always going to go because of what he passed on to me. And like I said, I'm very fortunate to have a dad who I respected that much, and who I love that much, because he really, my dad didn't teach me how to be a man, as far as I don't know how to work on cars. I can't fix anything.
It's not being a man.
But you know what I mean? But I know how to provide for my family. I know how to carry myself in a professional manner. That's the things I learned from my dad.
You learn those things by 17, 18, 20 years of watching.
Yeah.
That's where you learn it. My dad never sat me down and was like, all right, son, let me tell you how to love your wife.
Yeah.
I watched how my dad treated my wife I watched how my dad treated my mom all those years, how he spoke to her, how he handled conflict, how he just was steady. That, and it just becomes part, like, you learn it by almost, it's not osmosis, but it's just,
but being
in that environment, you're seeing it every single day.
And I feel like too, and especially him coming from a generation, because dad is 54. So dad's 54, and so he's coming from a different generation, and there's the also other side of it. And I don't know your dad, but I know how you are. So I can see how you were brought up. But I think the best part about being a man is taking everything and then deciding how you want to be. Because there's traits of my dad that weren't great, that I had to unlearn. My dad had a bad temper. Now, as he's gotten older, he's calmed down. And I had to learn, okay, it's not good to handle certain situations like that. And thankfully through Alex, and she's helped me see, there's certain, it's like, hey, this isn't how you do this. Or like, there's been times that I've had to catch myself because Skyline will do something, and my knee-jerk reaction at times, now it's not a lot because I baby her probably more than I should, but like, is to get upset the way dad would, but then I have to stop and go, it's not that big a deal. And you remember how he was, and you don't want to be like that. You want to take the good. And I think that as we progress, the older generations will say that we're softer or whatever, but it's as we progress, we learn and we become better, and we're supposed to become better. You're supposed to become a better version of your father the same way your children are supposed to become a better version of you. And I think we can, and because the thing is I know that there's mistakes that my dad made, and I know there's mistakes his dad made, and there's going to be plenty of mistakes that I make. But I have to sit there and look at the mistakes of my father and his father to try to avoid those mistakes. And I think that that's one of the most important things to be aware of. Once you figure out, it's like, okay, I can take all the good parts of you, and we don't have to carry on bad parts. So that way, eventually, in theory, the bad parts all go away. and it's not perfect, but yeah,
trying to create.
But yeah, all that to say that I'm constantly chasing to be the kind of man that my dad is, because I know that he is, to me, the definition of a great man. Mm-hmm. And I think that I'm hoping that carries on to my child, whether as what she wants to be or what she wants to find.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, man, you just got to love her. You love her, be patient, be kind, be gracious. That's what I try and do with my kids. I mean, there is time for you really screwed the pooch on this one.
Yeah.
And it's going to cost you, but most of the time I try and practice, like, if you messed up, let's talk about it.
Yes.
Let's talk about it. What did you do wrong? Let me help you understand, consequences, or if there needs to be some, we can deal with that. But I'm not angry.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at you. It's going to be okay, but you need to learn here. And a lot of that is my dad was very gracious and patient, but more importantly than that is I know, and I don't know I know you said you grew up in church. I don't know where you're at now, and it's fine. But for me, like, I know how Jesus is with me. He does not give me what I deserve.
Yeah.
And I just want to impart that to my children, that grace and mercy and love and compassion. That doesn't mean I let them get away with murder.
Yeah.
But it's like, not everything deserves harsh judgment.
Yeah. I mean,
most things don't.
There's lessons that can be taught that punishment will never teach.
Yes.
Because I try to tell Skyline, I'm like, hey, this is why we're doing this. This because you did this is why we're doing this. And it might be taking the iPad away or whatever, but there's ways that you can, because like I said, there's ways that I can get through to her, because she's a lot like I was. She just needed to be talked to, and so I try to talk to her, but like, there is times where discipline, and I feel like that's where people miss it. I feel like from what I've learned, just talking to other parents, because I didn't realize there's like some wild parenting out there, like that. Like, you hear people talking, you're like, okay, that's cool. I'm gonna step over here now because I don't want whatever you got going on. Yeah. Whether it's super soft or super heavy, I'm like, that's a lot. But the best punishment I ever did, and you'll get a kick out of this. So my young is a little lazy. And I love her, but she likes to sit in a room and just relax. And
she sounds a lot like my daughter.
Well, she's like, what it is like, and honestly, because she's not like a super like constantly got to stare at something kind of kid, but she likes quiet time. Like, she just likes to sit and whatever.
So you can't put her in timeout.
No,
it doesn't matter.
No. And so she went through a little phase where she was lying, but she was lying about like stupid stuff, like stuff that if she would have even said it, she wouldn't have been in trouble for, kind of thing. And I think my dad was slightly proud of this punishment, because it was because I told him about it, because I was me and all my buddies were laughing at it. I said, I told Alex, I said, next time she lies, I said, I'm in charge of the punishment. And she's like, what are you going to do? I said, don't worry about it. I was like, I'm in charge of the punishment. I was like, just know. I was like, the problem will be solved. She said, okay. And we went, and she got caught lying or something. We got to the house. I grabbed a can of spray paint, walked out of my front yard. And my front yard is not that big, but it's big enough. And I put 4 dots on my front yard. And she said, so what am I doing? I said, well, Sky, I said, you've never played sports before. I said, but this is a common punishment in sports. I said, this is called a suicide. I said, and you got to run to this dot and go back and run to this dot and go back. I was like, but here's the thing. I was like, even though you're running back and forth, I was like, when you go to the last dot and come back, that's 1. And she's like, how many I got to run? I was like, I don't know yet. Dude, by the second one, she was, and I was like, and so I made her do it like 8 of them. And like, keep in mind, this is probably the equivalent of like maybe half of a basketball court.
Sure.
I mean, but she got like 7 or 8 done. And I sat her down. I said, do you ever want to do this again? She said, no. I said, then baby, just stop lying. I was like, I said, me and your mom don't yell at you. Well, I don't yell at her, but it's a little different with Alex. I said, we don't yell at you. I said, we don't spank you. I was like, we're not harsh parents. I was like, we're super laid back. I was like, you realize, I was like, you have a touring musician as a dad and a piercer as a mom. I was like, we're not these like hard-nosed parents. I was like, just be honest with us. And I hugged her. I told her I loved her. I was like, all right, and I go in. She's like, can I have, I was like, you can, I was like, that's it. I was like, your punishment's done. I was like, you can have your iPad right now. You can go hang out right now. I was like, and I remember telling my dad just laughed. He just laughed. He's like, that's pretty good. He's, you know, and so, but yeah, I mean, I think that there's, you know, I'm just trying to make you a good person.
Yeah.
I was like, as long as you just turn out fine.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm good. You know, but yeah, no.
Just turn out fine.
I love this podcast. This is great.
Well,
I never get a chance to like talk about it.
I was to say, man, we are like, I've put away my notebook. We're like way off, and I don't care.
Basically, to tell you fine folks, I'm a touring musician. You can find me on Facebook. I also own a print company. It's Cowboy Custom Printing. We love to take care of you. That's what you need to take away from this. But we're going to keep talking. But what you need to know, my name's Jarrett Forrester, Cowboy Custom Printing. There we go. We covered all the. Do we have any sponsors? Do we have any?
We don't.
Okay,
not yet. I need some.
I'm gonna hand him $1 when this is over. This is sponsored by Cowboy Custom Printing today. I paid for my sponsorship, but
well, what we're gonna do is take a quick break. I'm gonna refill my my beverage here, and if you need more water or whatever,
okay,
right there. We'll be right back.
That was great.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna ask you. 154. That's a mark in my notebook where I need to go to edit. Oh, that's funny. Like this podcast is why?
Huh?
Don't ever get.
I never get to because and so the girl. So I was with the same girl for about 4 years, and we posted everything, and I mean, everywhere we went and all the time. Well, we were just constantly like, and you know, whatever. And like with Alex and Skyland, like if we go somewhere, you know, I'll host or whatever. But like I've learned, I keep my private life fairly private.
Mm-hmm.
Like we took a family picture on Easter. I posted that. But like when me and Alex go to a concert, those pictures, like the picture of me and her is like in the middle of the post. And it's like, so like, and like with Skyline, I try to avoid posting Skyline on my social media. And like, I mean, like she'll get posted some, but
I generally don't post like she is either.
Yeah. And because, and like, yeah, you got daughters too. Like
there's wackos out there, dude.
Yeah. And so I'm just like, you know, and so because of that, you know, and so it makes things so much easier. I'm like, this is just great. Like, but like people know I'm a dad because like I'll post about stuff, but like it's not whatever. And so like I never get to talk about like
just life.
Yeah, just life.
Well, are you cool if we get to music?
Yeah, dude, go nuts. Hell, I'm having a great time.
Okay, that's fine. I just want to make sure that
Yeah,
you're good.
that's why I did the last thing. I'm like, hey, this is what I am.
Yeah.
You can find everything online.
Yeah. All right, we're back, and I'm glad that you're enjoying the show.
This is great.
You get to all the stuff that I will wind up editing out the last several minutes. But as a musician and cowboy, obviously you're touring, you're playing a lot of music, you're in public a lot, so you don't get opportunities to just sit down and everybody wants to talk about music.
Yeah.
And obviously that gets old.
Yeah.
I mean, you put on the face for whoever you're talking to.
Exactly. And it's nice. Like, I've had people come up to me and be like, man, I love that song. I had a dude come up to me in a grocery store, because I have a song. It was something I was dealing with. This was on my first record, but I have a song about basically it's like falling in love with the person you're cheating with. And I was dealing with a lot of different stuff at that point in my life. I had a guy that I did not know walk up to me in a grocery store and be like, man, I love that song. I'm going through it right now. And like, he's telling me about cheating on his wife. And I'm like, hey, this is so nice that you feel comfortable talking to me. But I don't want to be in this conversation right now. But yeah, that's the thing. I love talking about music. And I love talking about the cool stuff I get to do, because I'm very fortunate, and I tell myself all the time, like, even on the days that I'm just like burnt out, and it comes up on Instagram all the time, and it's like, would 15-year-old you think you were cool? And I'm constantly going, yeah, 15-year-old me would think what's going on now is great, but I necessarily like that part. That part never gets old, but I don't necessarily like talking about me. But like, if you want to talk about it, like if I wrote a song that like touched you, please tell me. Like, tell me why.
Yeah.
And it's not even to like stroke my ego, but it's like, I want to know why.
Yeah.
I want to know why that song that I wrote, whether it was something personal to me or not, why is it personal to you? Please tell me. And that's what I love. I love the connection part of it more than I love the actual, because like, I'm very fortunate. I make a living doing this. I've gotten to stand on stage and open up for almost all of my heroes. I've got to do a lot of cool stuff. I've got to see a lot of this country by touring and riding around. I've got to meet amazing people. But that's the stuff I want to talk about.
Yeah.
Like, I'm cool with talking about this record, but I'm also like, I really want to tell you how much fun I had last week, because I tried Skyline Chili for the first time. And it's something that goes with the music and traveling, because people are always like, where's your favorite place you went? That's what I love. I love that way more than I love stroking my own ego to tell people about it. But yeah.
Well, I have a few questions about the music stuff, and I guess we'll just, as they come up. I don't know, but you said you've opened for most of your heroes.
Yes.
And I'm not even interested in who the heroes are. I'm more interested in what is the job of the opener? Like, what are you trying to accomplish as the opener?
So it's kind of like, we were talking, like, you brought up like religious stuff earlier. It's almost like being a worship band for the pastor, in a sense of, my job is the one to show up and make it where the headliner doesn't have to play as long and people feel like they got their money. That's the textbook definition. The guy that makes it where the headliner doesn't have to play too long.
That's wild.
Yeah, and
from the consumer.
Yeah, like, it's my job. My job is to be playing that 45 minutes from when, if you're running late because your wife took too long or you had a flat tire.
She's gonna take too long.
That's fair.
I just want to
let
you know.
Hey, mine does too, and it's fine. The trick is you tell them you're leaving 30 minutes earlier than you want to leave. It works every time. But really, because the opener is really there, and nobody's going to tell you this, the opener's there to serve themselves. that band in most situations does not need you to sell tickets because they have people coming to see them. That band does not need you to put on an amazing show before them because they're going to put on an amazing show. That's why they sold the tickets. But the opener one fills the gap space of somebody's running late or somebody's doing whatever. Maybe it gives another hour to sell more beer or to sell whatever. But from my standpoint, when I get the privilege to be an opener, because no matter what anybody says, it is not a right, it is a privilege that somebody, whether it's the band, whether it's the promoter, whether it's the venue, to allow you to be in front of somebody else's audience, to try to make them be a part of your audience. But being an opener is just taking the opportunity to try to grow your audience for yourself.
Right.
Now, I've been to venues where I only went for the opener. I've been to places and concerts where I went for the headliner and then bought out one of everything on the opener's merch table because I was captivated by them. The thing is, you being the opener benefits you way more than it's going to benefit the consumer. But the consumer can take stuff away from it as becoming a new fan or finding somebody else they like. And I feel like a lot of people wouldn't say that. I feel like they'd be like, "Oh, well, we warm up the room and we that's so."
You know what the beer's for?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That it's so like almost entitled, feeling like I'm there to take the show to another level. No, you're not. You're there.
They're not there to see you.
Yeah. Now, but
well, some are. Like you said,
but your job as the opener is to give that person's crowd the best show you can possibly put on. And I've opened for people that I'm working on. So we recorded the show in Wisconsin last week, and we recorded the show in Illinois. And so I'm working on possibly doing like 2 separate live albums or whatever. And I gave them the best show that I could give them, and it went well. I've opened for people, and it sank.
Your opener sank, or the whole show?
No. The whole show did not sink, but I walked off stage going, I didn't add anything to this show. I didn't. So a great example of that, and I had a chance to redeem myself. So it was kind of a cool moment. So the fun thing about me is because I sit there and tell jokes, and I try to entertain in every way possible. But I will open for anybody who's like, would you like to open for me, or would you like to open the show? I'd love to. Thank you so much for considering me. Let's go. That mindset has put me in some odd situations. I know that we're in Easley. Have you ever been to Tribble's Bar in Piedmont? Coolest bar in the world. It's great. It's a little dive bar. It's off like exit 35. It's great. It's in Piedmont. I'm friends with Tribble. He calls me on Saturday. He goes, "What are you doing on Tuesday?" I was like, "Nothing. What's up?" He said, "Can you do 30 minutes of just like 90s trash hits? Like just what, like," I was like, "Yeah, why? For what's it for?" He said, "We're trying to sell a couple more tickets to Afro Man." He's like, "You want to open for Afro Man?" I was like, "Yeah, cool." I put together a set, and it's like Hootie and the Blowfish and Matchbox 20 and whatever. I go. The people that are there, very polite. They clap at the end of my set, but they're not vibing.
Yeah.
So I go, and I come off stage, and one of my close friends, and I actually do merch for him as well. His band's Redefined. They're a new metal band, but he also has a project called Sleep Deprived, and it's like new metal, but it's more on like the rap side. It goes okay. It goes fairly. He even told me, he comes off stage, he's like, "That was rough," and I was like, because they wanted Afro Man. Well, Afro Man was late. Well, when it comes to rappers and stuff, they only have what they have. Like Jordan had his laptop up there and he'd hit the track and do it, and that's how all those rappers do. So he ain't like he can do more songs. And Tribble's like, Afro Man's still not here. And Jordan's like, Jarrett can play. I was like, all right. I told Tribble, like, we're gonna do this different. So I go up there and I just addressed the crowd. I said, hey, I said, y'all weren't really vibing what I had going on. I mean, this bar holds 175. There was 175 people in this bar. Like, it was packed. I said, y'all weren't really vibing what I had earlier. I said, but I'll give you two choices. I said, I'll be honest with you. I said, Afro Man ain't here yet. I said, so you got me. I'm like, okay. I said, I can either keep doing what I was doing earlier. I said, yeah, we can all vibe, go. I was like, or I said, I got a bunch of dirty comedy songs and we can just play and have a good time. I said, what do y'all want? And they're like, dirty songs. So, dude, I'm doing Rodney Carrington songs, David Allen Coe songs, just all kind, and they're laughing and everybody's having a great time. And I was like, this is what they wanted. And so I was able to give them something that they wanted and get them, because like if Afro Man would have came on right after me and Jordan, he would have had to kind of pick up the room,
Right.
whether or unlike if he didn't have an opener and then he just comes out hard, you know. So like,
Yeah.
we probably did more damage in the beginning to bring, but I was able to redeem myself and come up and do, and like I'm cracking jokes in the middle of the songs I'm doing, and so an opener can kill a room. And so it's your job to just give the people the best show. But the person who benefits the most from a concert, as far as like promote, is the opener, because you're getting the opportunity to be in front of somebody's crowd that they've already built for you.
Yeah, you have an opportunity to expand your fan base.
Yeah, and I mean, I had a bunch of Afro Man fans buy my T-shirts and buy my hats and buy, like they were like, oh, we're gonna follow you, we're gonna, you know, and so it's like I'm the one who benefits from it. But yeah, so I mean, the job of an opener is really just to fill space and entertain. And if you can't do either one of them, you don't need to be an opener. You know, and I mean, and so that's just kind of how I look at it.
Yeah. Well, that's a good answer to the question, you know, because I roll the cigar box out and I do all of the concerts at the amphitheater in Simpsonville, CCP.
Okay. Yeah.
And so I sell cigars, but I take in all the shows and I listen to all the opening acts and just like all that stuff. And I've seen some cool people out there. Like, and I have never really been a concert going guy.
Gotcha.
I like in my teen years, I think maybe very early in 20, I've done like 2 concerts. I did the George Street Festival one year, and then I went to a Brooks and Dunn concert. Other than that, I've not in any concerts. They really just weren't my thing. Now, I've come to appreciate them more doing like my cigar business out there, because I get to watch a show and I'm selling cigars. So,
Did you ever get to bring anything to the artist? Like, do you?
I was backstage, 2 years ago when Marcus King came. I got to meet Marcus.
He's so nice, and his dad is so nice too, because me and his dad play at Smiley's in Greenville.
Yeah.
And Marvin will come in, and he told me one time, and it was an amazing compliment, especially coming from him because he's so talented. He said, boys, if I could sing like you, I wouldn't shut up. I said, if I could play guitar like you, I wouldn't shut up. He said, I guess we're even.
Yeah.
And it was one of my favorite things.
So I got to see them. I did both country music festivals the last couple of years. You know, I mean, I think one night with Marcus King was the Avett Brothers. I love the Avett Brothers.
They're
they
great.
make some great music.
So you did the homecoming thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the Brad Paisley show. He did a great job. Seen Smashing Pumpkins out there. I've seen a lot of guys out there, and it's been fun. And so, you know, I get to just kind of observe the crowd when the openers are doing their thing. A lot of people I've never heard of.
Yeah.
Which probably most of them, they're just trying to make their way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I guess a question to you is, what does it mean to, maybe it means something a little bit different to each artist, but to quote unquote make it? Like, what does that mean to you?
So, and you're right, it means so much different stuff to so many different people. To me, where I'm at now, I'm extremely happy because I'm my own boss. I schedule all my own stuff. I can make as much or as little as I want because I can work as much or as little as I want. I mean, now I got to hit a certain number or, you know, my beautiful fiance and child are not going to be there anymore. But you know what I mean? I mean, I think that there's so many people, especially musicians, that focus so much on, oh, I want to do this, right? Hey, you made it when you hit there. You made it when you hit here. You made it when you played here. And I'm like, but why though? Why does it? Why? Because I can promise you, I've played to 15 people before, and I've played to 2,000 people before. 15 people who care what you're doing, who want to watch you, are way better than 2,000 people who could care less that you're there. So making it is very subjective, but in my mind, if you're making a living, you've made it.
You've already made it.
You've already made it. I mean, dude, I'm fortunate enough. I mean, I'm fortunate enough that I get to go and like, if I was talking like, would 15-year-old me think I was cool? If I told 15-year-old me, yo, we're going, people are buying t-shirts with your name on them. People are buying CDs of songs you wrote. They're laughing at all your jokes. They're telling you, this. And on top of that, like, I love hotels, and that's so dumb. Like, it doesn't have to be nice hotels. I just love sleeping in hotel rooms because I can get a room like 60 degrees and it's quiet. And I'm like, you get to sleep in hotels all the time. You get to just go and just see. You get to try food because, like, I love trying. Like I said, I tried Skyline chili because I was in Cincinnati and I'd never had it before. And I was like, I'm gonna try this.
How was it?
It was great. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I mean, it wasn't gourmet, but like, that was a solid chili cheese dog. And it was.
Oh, well, it's a chili cheese.
Yeah.
Man.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Because they only have two options. You can either get it's I think they're called pups, but it's like they're like the little conies. You can get that, or they have it. It's called a 3, 4, or 5 way, and it's where they put their chili on top of spaghetti. And then they put their chili on top of spaghetti. It's a different kind of chili though. It's not like chili we have here. It's really hard to explain, but it's not like chili beans. If that, yeah, but like, and they'll like put stuff on it. I think spaghetti is one of the nastiest things in the world. So I was like, I'm good. I'll just have the chili cheese dog. But it was good. But like, when I go to Alabama, I try Milo's. Before Whataburger was ever around here, I ate Whataburger in Texas and in Florida.
Okay, let me just say this: the Whataburgers, like Whataburger, I love you guys. I'm from Texas. Here in Easley, you got to pick up your game, man. I'm highly disappointed in the Whataburgers here. Texas is a different thing.
It is, just like if you've ever had In-N-Out outside of California. Like, I've had In-N-Out in California, and I've had In-N-Out in like Texas and around.
It's not the same.
It's not the same. And so I get it. Just like I've had Bojangles in Illinois. It's not the same. But at Whataburger, though, you can put enough like jalapeno ranch or creamy pepper sauce on it, and it's edible. So
I'm gonna have to do something about this dog.
I was like,
it's not you.
I was like, are you against creamy jalapeno? Because that's. I was about to say I will leave.
No,
but,
no.
But yeah, like I said, I mean, and there's days that it's not fun. There's days when you drive 8 hours.
Well, see,
I've driven 8 to 10 hours and played for 2 people in a bar. Or I've driven somewhere in the bar. You get there in the bar, and the bartender's like, "We didn't know you were coming."
Oh, that's always fun.
And so it's just stuff like that, like kind of pull you down. But like, you have to kind of sit down and go, dude, you're getting to see all kinds of cool stuff. You're getting to do all kinds of cool stuff. I mean, I'm a couple years from having my house paid off. And that was music. I was able to go in a dealership and be able to finance and put a good down payment on a brand new car.
There you go.
Like, And I'm doing all that while working for myself and getting, I mean, if I don't have print company stuff, sleep till 11 o'clock in the afternoon and just wake up. I got to go see my daughter's strings recital, her dance recital. I got to do anything. I'm taking off for her birthday. She's having a sleepover at the house. I've already made these goodie bags for all the kids, and I got all this stuff we're doing. I get to do all that and not have somebody tell me that I can't do it because I have to do something else.
Yeah.
That to me is making it.
Absolutely. Quick timeout.
Yep.
I'm gonna handle the dog. We're back. I was seeing, and that's part of the thing. Like guys and girls of all ages dream about being a musician, and I've said everybody should dream about something.
Oh yeah, I mean, when I was in the first grade, I said I want to be a singer, and that's yeah.
But like the being on the stage, playing to 2,000 or 50,000 or whatever the number is, that's the romantic part. But nobody thinks like I have to drive 10, 12, 16 hours, sleep in a Motel 6 or whatever, like the grind. So yeah, man. How is that grind?
It's not fun all the time, and like I said, like this past week I was spoiled because I was on the road with Dallas. But like I have, and if you've been on my social media, I have a red teardrop camper, and it is built on a 4x8 trailer, and it is basically a rolling full size bed. It has no AC in it, and I sleep in parking lots. I sleep and I shower. I have a Planet Fitness black card, and that's how I shower on the road.
Yeah.
Is I hit Planet Fitnesses and I shower. Nobody wants to talk about that. One of my best friends in the entire world, his name's Chance Stanley, and he reevaluated everything, and he decided to turn his SUV into a sleeper. So he's got like a mattress and all kinds of stuff out there, and he's doing it too with no AC. Addison Johnson, he has a van he's converted, and he's doing it. Nobody wants to talk about that because let me tell you, a dirty but sleepable hotel room is not going to be worse than being in Florida in July in a parking lot.
In a 4x8 teardrop with no AC.
Yeah. And so, I mean, but the thing is, and everybody's like, how could you do it? I'm like, it's what I got to do because it's like, okay, yes, this does suck, but I come home with $500 extra a week, off of it or whatever, sometimes more. I play at the beach a lot. I can only imagine. I mean, think about how much a cheap motel in Myrtle Beach is during the heat of the summer. I wouldn't make any money, but so it's something that I have to do to make the life I want happen. So if I have to sleep in a camper and sleep, no AC and be a little uncomfortable, but come home and have the money to, we're renovating our house right now. Have the money to renovate a house. Have the money to take the girls out to do something.
Take a trip to Europe.
Take a trip, do whatever. Like I have a surprise trip. When is this episode going to drop?
Not till the end of June.
Okay, then I could say what trip it is.
Hang on, let me just double check it. Before, you're not published until June 28th.
Okay, perfect. Because this is June 15th. So like my girls have no idea. So they got me into Harry Potter, and so like on a whim, like literally planned this like driving home one night, and like because Alex is a piercer, like she loves like crystals and stuff like that, and so on Monday the 15th we're gonna get up and drive to Ruby Falls and do Ruby Falls and Rock City in Chattanooga, and then we're gonna get up the next morning and go to Atlanta, because have you seen the Cosm?
Mm-mm.
So it's kind of like the Sphere, but they have them in like Dallas, Atlanta, I think LA, and it's like an immersive theater, and they're showing Harry Potter in this immersive theater, and they have no idea that we're going. And like I have a bag for day one and a bag for day two, and I was able, and I mean that trip was, I mean, the whole thing was like $600. So it wasn't like a crazy extravagant thing, but I had an idea on the way home and just booked it. And so making little sacrifices like that allow me to enjoy the bigger stuff that I want to do. And like I said, it's not easy. It's not easy because I play around 225, 230 shows a year. I'd say about 95% of those are self-booked. And it's me sitting there on my phone.
Yeah, so you don't have like a manager. Like you are your manager.
I'm my manager. I'm my merch team. I'm my social media team. I'm my booking agent. I'm my driver. I'm everything. And I'm fortunate. I mean, I have people around me who, if I ever needed help, they could help me. But I just have a certain way of like a certain system of stuff. And so, but there's I hear so many people all the time. They're like, yeah, man, I want to play as many shows as you. I'm like, okay, here's how I did it. And I tell people, I mean, I do not gatekeep anything. I'm like, this is exactly how I started. This is how it grew. This is what it can turn into. Okay, man, cool. And then they don't do it. And because it's a lot. And I'm not saying that I'm any kind of special, but it's like one of my favorite bands is American Aquarium. And BJ said something early on when I was seeing him, and he still says it in like interviews and stuff, but he said there's gonna be people who are better guitar players than you. There's gonna be people who are better writers than you, better singers than you, better anything that you can think of. There's going to be somebody who's better, but only you can decide if you're gonna outwork them. And that's just how I do it. And it's, that's just what I benefit
like
from.
This podcast, I was fortunate to, with the help of Josiah, he got me this camera that allowed me to go to video, but go into video, and I enjoy this.
Yeah.
Like whenever I would liken this moment to when you're on stage playing.
Yes.
Going to video has created a lot more work.
Oh yeah.
So people don't see. So I will record this. Like, I'll tell you the workflow. Like, I sent you fill this form out for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to build the show notes. And then I'm going to send them to you ahead of time so you can see them. And then we're going to have the actual conversation. And then I'm going to record it. And I'm going to upload it. And I'm going to edit it. And then after I edit it, I'll download it. And I'll put it through a transcriber. And I'll use some, AI to help me write the episodes and all this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll put it through another tool to help our lips and the audio match up whenever I re-upload it. And I've got to create shorts, and I've got to create social media for it, and I've got to
remember to post them and remember.
Yeah. So for people that want to create a podcast, like if you want to make a podcast, make it, do it, but it's going to make you work.
Yeah.
Like you don't just, you can launch a podcast and not do anything, and it's just going to be sloppy.
Yeah.
Or you can do it and you can do it well, but that requires effort.
Yep. Oh yeah. It's I think that gets lost, and I don't even think it's a generational thing, because I know just as many 50-something-year-olds as I do 20-year-olds who will say like the same, like, oh, I just can't do it because of this, or whatever, and who will give you the same excuses. Like there was a musician that I met, and because like my YouTube, I pretty much have it scheduled to where it's like, I want to say like this entire year I'll have like 2 to 3 videos a week come out. Now, what those videos a lot are is either direct off a soundboard that I made a picture for that had the information, and I just uploaded it. Then I scheduled all of those, and then I went and played a show, and I had a tripod, and I just set my phone up and I recorded an hour straight, and I just went to iMovie, a free interface, chopped everything up, and then scheduled it and posted it, or it's stuff with the band, or it's whatever, and it's all scheduled and posted. And somebody was, and I have videos. I mean, I have videos that get 50 views, and I've had videos get 5,000 views, and neither one of them hurt my feelings or whatever. I'm just putting it out, because as long as I keep putting it out, as long as I'm steady, eventually the audience will find itself. But I was sitting there talking to them, and they were just like, I just want to get a team built around me. And I was like, why? They're like, what do you mean why? I'm like, why do you need a team? I'm like, just go do it. I'm like, everything's there. You have free video editing software. YouTube is free. TikTok is free. Instagram is free. And they're like, well, I need content. I'm like, you can go buy a $20 tripod, set it up, and record. Well, then and I'm like, but they're sitting in front of a laptop. and I got to get video software. I'm like, I could find 10 free video software right now.
It's just,
And it's like as long as you, no matter what industry you're in, as long as you keep giving an excuse that you can't do it, you'll never be able to do it.
yeah, it really, I used to work in a butcher shop, and we had a little saying, me and another guy his name was Trey, and we're talking about making this cut on this piece of meat was difficult and I can't get it, or I'm having trouble getting like the right amount of sausage in this casing, whatever. And we would joke and say, I can't do this. And the question would be, well, how bad do you want it?
Yeah.
And that's really the question.
Yeah. And it's just, if you want to do something, just do it. And like, because there's always going to be some kind of hurdle. There's going to, dude, like I said, prime example, like, because as we were talking about earlier, I have the print company that I run, and I handle every bit of administrative work for the print company. So I do, anytime you see something posted, I posted it. If you see a picture, I took it. If you see artwork, I'm the one who vectorized it and made sure it was the right format. And Alex is and she is extremely important. Like, Alex helps me a lot with like the actual like making of it, and that's what she wants to do. She doesn't want to be bothered. She doesn't want to sell. She just wants to do that. But it's, you have to, like, so last night or yesterday I played Southern Illinois at 2:00 Central Time yesterday. I got done at
4:00 here for people listening.
Yeah. And so I got home. I walked through my door at 3 a.m. this morning, Eastern Time. I didn't go to bed. I had a checklist because I had some orders come in while I was gone. I sat on my couch, and for an hour, and I'm not saying this to toot my own horn, I'm just saying you have to make time for it. I sat on my couch, and I spent an hour doing ordering and design work and whatever I had to do, and then I went to bed.
Yeah.
And it was like, I could have easily been like, I'll get it tomorrow. But then if I get it tomorrow, then it's, well, that delays that production of that by one day. And that might not seem a lot, but if you do that every day with a new order that comes in, you're constantly behind.
Well, and that's the thing about running your own business, being your own boss, especially when you're doing multiple things.
I work way harder for myself than any boss has ever made me work.
Yeah, like there is no such thing as, well, it's 5:00, I'm gonna quit. Like my wife, I mean, I know that you know this, like, so she's disabled, and so she's already upstairs and she'll be off to bed soon. And when she goes to bed, it's time for me to work.
Yeah.
Like, because I've been taking care of her all day, trying to help her with this, that, or the other, make her meals and blah, 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 help her get dressed.
Is that, if you don't mind me asking, is that what pushed you to be a business owner so you could take care of her?
No, being a business owner started before.
Gotcha. Okay. I was just curious because, like, I know a lot of times it happens out of necessity, so you can work around.
It happened out of necessity because I went through a divorce.
Okay.
And then and I had 4 kids and went through a divorce, and now I'm one of those dads that's like every other weekend and every other Thursday for a few hours, and I'm 40 years old at the time, and I want to see my kids, and it's hard to. I was a pastor for 12 years, okay, in Southern California. And so I had a skill set that nobody in the world cares about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, a pastor is a lot of things, and there's a lot of management skills that go into that. But whenever you're no longer pastoring, you're trying to enter into the working world, companies don't look at a guy who's executive pastor. They don't look at that as like, oh, this guy's got management experience. That's not what they see.
Yeah. They don't see you running deacons and volunteers and
organizing programs. Yeah. And, like, they don't see any of that, right? You're just the talking head on Sunday who plays golf the rest of the week.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, people see me as the guy that makes T-shirts. They don't see me as the guy that takes the awful artwork and has to sit there for 20 minutes and fix it and everything else. They just see the final.
I thought of this years ago, like, you hear this saying often whenever we're in the middle of an election cycle and people are running for office, and somebody will say, this guy's he's never done anything. And of course, there's a lot of people that never done anything that shouldn't be, running for office. However, but they'll make the saying like, he's never even run so much as a candy store. As if running a candy shop is easy.
Running a candy shop would be horribly
You
hard.
know how many different, like all the SKUs you got to keep up with, how much stock you have, what you need to reorder. I would like, it's like as if that's easy. It's not easy.
Dude, I remember this is a total side note. Like, I'm actually an author. And so I wrote a children's book 3 years ago. And I wrote this children's book, and it was one of those things, and I don't, like, when I was growing up, I heard teachers talk about, I heard teachers say, well, if you don't do this, you're going to work at McDonald's. And like, I'm talking not just one teacher. Like, I heard that, like, and I was like, and then like, as I got older, and then it really, and I think too, it was a generational thing, because I don't know if there was like a lot of respect for like fast food workers. And those were the same sanction of people who during COVID, when nobody was doing it, that they were like, nobody wants to work. I'm like, no, you made that job look and say unimportant. And right now, Barbara, nobody wants an accountant or a front desk clerk, but we need chicken nuggets.
Yeah.
And so the book is called Strum Can't Drum, and the whole thing is about a guitar trying to find its voice and be its own person. And the thing about it is like, but at the end of it, it talks about he realized that he was the person for that sound. And just like there's a person for that job.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be discounted or whatever. And I think that happens a lot, is like, people don't see, like, I was a server in high school and stuff, and everybody's like, oh man, you just sit there and make tips. I'm like, you've never been yelled at by an overweight woman from the Midwest because you forgot her ranch.
Yeah.
I'm like, you've never sat there and watched loads of people come in and you're trying to figure out a way to make sure everybody has a decent experience, because if you don't, then you get in trouble because too many people came in at one time. And I think that happens a lot, is there's so many people who don't value certain jobs because of what they think. And it's like, every job is valuable because it's an ecosystem.
Sure.
And just like, like I said, like, there's the old joke is like, I want to be a pastor so I can only work on Wednesday and Sunday.
Please.
And like, I don't attend church anymore, and I had my reasonings for leaving church, but I never wanted to leave God. I wanted to leave churches, and that was a totally different thing. But the thing is I was very fortunate that, and there's some things with me and him on a social level that we don't agree on, but I had an amazing pastor growing up. My pastor was Keith Kelly, who is at his vineyard. It was from the time I was like 6 to like I was like 19, and but I knew that man, though he had a great team, he was in charge of that church, and he was the one who, everything made sure, so I mean, so I get it. And I've worked in churches. I've been fired from churches.
Yeah.
So kicked out, but so I mean, people, there's no matter what the job is, people just don't see value because they can't see far enough past their nose to realize, hey, there's way more to this.
I was working that job, and I resigned the pastorate, moved here, and I needed work, and went through this divorce and needed a job. And and I got this job, and it was just kind of a little stopgap. That's what I needed. But I had to start a business because it's hard as a 40-year-old man to walk into a company and say, look, I need every other weekend off because I got to see my kids.
Yeah.
I need this weird scheduling every other Thursday, and you're fighting with people for seniority. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
And thankfully, I wound up remarrying, and my wife was very successful, and she was very supportive. And she's like, if this is what you want to do, go for it. Build your dream.
It's amazing how much a woman will push you to be a better version. Dude. The right woman will make you want to be so much better.
She's like, I'm doing well. My company's exploding. We'll live off my salary. See your kids. Build this. Make it great.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And when I want to start this podcast, she's like, do it. Do it. I support you. And then just over a year ago, we discovered she had a very large aneurysm in her brain.
Oh, wow.
And when they did surgery to fix it, she had a massive stroke. So I had to shut down her business. her whole right. So that's why she didn't get up to greet you.
Oh yeah.
So
I assumed because I knew because I heard on Duncan's podcast because you were talking about your beard, which is magnificent.
oh, thank you, sir.
But you were talking about like having a disabled wife, and then I was like I was assuming because and it's because I think I've seen it so much of me. It was like ALS or something where like it's like a bodily thing. So
her whole right side's messed up, and she has a hard time talking.
Yeah.
And so now I'm a full-time caretaker. But this podcast, which I'm trying, it's growing, and part of like getting sponsorships, whether it's Old Forester or Aberlour or Appleton Estate Rum or Sagamore Rye.
What you didn't see is we drank. Well, he didn't overserve. I'm half drunk right now because I drank all of this before. They're all delicious, and either one of them, any one of them, would be lucky to sponsor such an amazing podcast with over 100,000 listeners per episode. I want that to be known. He told me he's like 100,000 people, if not more, listen to this, and like he can prove it. He's got spreadsheets. Don't pay attention that it says Chat GPT at the bottom. That's a lie that they're trying to get you on.
But cigar sponsors, whatever. But so I'm building something here that fits my life.
Yeah.
In what I need. Like I can, if there's any issue, I can always pause the show and go see what she needs.
Mm-hmm.
But the cigar box allows me to work some event driven, gone a few hours here and there.
Yeah.
And it's like, I just decided, dadgummit, I'm going to bet on myself.
Yeah. And that's the only way to go. And like, I remember, so like my father worked for Terminex for 23 years, and he was so burnt out. He was because you don't think about it, but like, and I as a man now, and as somebody who's in charge of different stuff now, I can look back at the times that I was like, why was dad like that? Why was dad like this? And go, oh, he had a wife and 2 sons and a company and everything to run. And so it's very much like, okay, this makes sense now. And I think that's a pivotal moment in a man's life when you understand your father.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Cause I'm going, hell, you weren't an ass. You were just tired.
Yeah. You got a lot of stress. You got a wife to take care of. You got children to feed and clothe and a house to pay.
Oh yeah, it's insane. And so, but he left after 23 years, and he had like a waiting, like a non-compete thing. So he had, but his whole thing was leave until he can start something. And my mom said it. She said, you spent a lot of years making everybody rich. Now, granted, we did not go without. I'm not trying to pretend like, but the people above him at like a corporate level who were not doing the kind of
they're not in crawl spaces.
The taxing things that he was doing were making 3 and 4 times what he's making. And my dad has the knowledge that they don't, and and he's like, he spent a lot of years making a lot of people a lot of money, and I'm extremely proud that so he left Terminex. He left Terminex a year after I quit my job to play music full time, if I'm right. And I remember because my dad likes bourbon, and I was so proud of him when he was like, or when he left the other company that he had to wait to start his own. That's what it was. When he left there, I went, and he likes Makers is one of the ones he likes. Now that he's gotten further into it, he's getting where he likes some more and more expensive stuff. But I went, stopped at the liquor store, and I bought a bottle of Maker's Mark, and I walked in, and I put it on the table. He's like, what's that? I said, it's for you. You did it. I was like, you do it. I was like, he said, I hope it was the right choice. And I was like, it is. I was like, no matter what you think, you're gonna do. I was like, because here's the thing: if you think I might fail, hell, you might succeed.
Right.
Here's the thing: you got a 50-50 shot. You're either gonna win or lose. And even in life, like I remember, because when I was doing pest control, there was a guy. His name was Scott McCloskey, and I loved him because he was always so nice to me. He was in sales for a long time, just different kind. And anytime I'd ask him anything, I felt like I could talk to him.
Yeah.
And I was 19 years old, 20 years old. And I was like, so I'm really thinking about quitting and doing it. He said, do it. He said, go do whatever. He said, you are 20 years old. He said, go live whatever dream you want to live. He said, because it doesn't matter if you're 30, 40, 50, 60. He said, this place will be here. He said, so go do it. If it doesn't work out, come back. Hell, do this for a couple more years. Go again. He said, it doesn't matter. He said, just take the chance. And I'm so glad I did, and so that's the thing. I mean, you're right. I mean, you have to bet on yourself, because if you don't bet, nobody is going to pull for you as hard as you, because you have the most to lose. So if you want to win bad enough, like you said, you're going to do it. I mean, I told everybody, I said, I have to make it. I was like, I have to do something. They're like, why? I was like, because I don't have a choice. I'm like, I was like, I have to be successful. If I'm not successful, I've got to figure out another way to try to go be successful. I was like, if this doesn't work, I'm going to do something else.
What do you love more? Cowboy Custom Printing or music?
It changes by the day. I've been fortunate enough for about the past 10 years to really grind and do this hard. And it's a different, like, it's an excitement level. Whereas there's, like I said, the days when you're driving and the bar forgets that you're coming, or they double book you, or you're doing whatever, and you're just like, why am I doing this? Why am I here? Or, I go back to the house and Alex is working on stuff, and she goes, hey, so by the way, those comfort color shirts that you ordered, I accidentally messed up 6 of them. I know those cost like $8 a piece though. Or, something happens and it's just like, but the days when a company calls me and says, hey, we need to get some stuff for the company. We're looking at doing like 150 hoodies, 200 hats, and like 500 t-shirts. And I'm just sitting there going, would look like Mr. Krabs from SpongeBob with just the money going in my head in this company. Because a part of it's the money, because there's good money in it, but a part of it is the trust. It's like, right now, you could throw a rock and hit a screen printing company.
Yeah.
But they chose you.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that feeling. I love that feeling of you saw something of mine you liked. And so, or the days like literally we played 2 sold out shows. We played Wednesday and Friday this past week, one in Wisconsin, one in Illinois. It was a 75 person room. There's a video of it on my TikTok. You can see it, but like, I had the most perfect 45-minute set. Every joke landed, and I didn't have to feel like I was pandering. I was very much me, and it was a R-rated show because it was an adults only show, so I could have a little more freedom, and it just went good. I sold like $600 worth of t-shirts. I mean, it was a night, and like everybody like shaking hands and taking pictures, and you get a standing ovation from a room that cared about what you had to say.
Yeah.
There's no feeling in the world that compares to being heard. Nothing. And so it's very hard to choose. I love them both for different reasons. And I think I love them both because they give me 2 separate creative outlets. I get to be creative in different ways.
Yeah. It's got to I don't know if that feeling ever goes away. Like when one company hires you to make some merch, and then a separate company hires you to make some merch, and whether it's a hat or a hoodie or whatever, and you're pulling the hat or the hoodie off the machine or whatever it is, and you see that crisp logo put on there for the first time, it's got to be like invigorating and new every time. It's like, oh, that looks so clean.
Well, and like I say it all the time, and it's normally when it's just me, because like I said, Alex still works a full-time job, so I tell her all the time, and it's a little backwards for us because our hours aren't, but it's you have your 9 to 5, but your 5 to 9 is what makes you who you really are. But normally if it's just me in the house, because she works during the daytime and then I work at nighttime, and so I'll bust out some orders and she'll come home and do them, and I'll pull that thing off and I'll be like, damn, that looks good. And I'd say it all the time, like to the point, like, because I'm gonna put that on some shirts for me, but it's just that look, and you're right, it's just like, that is sweet. and especially if it's something that I designed, because it's even another level of pride behind it, you know. And you just sit there, and then, or the feeling of, you know, you have a big order and you're looking at the stacks when you're done, or the taped up boxes, and then you just fill out that invoice. And like I have these like little goodie bags that have like a notepad and an ink pen and stuff in it that I just throw in every box, and it's just like you just look at it and go, yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's a feeling. You're right. I mean, 100%, it is a feeling. But yeah.
Yeah. So one more question. I think we'll wrap it up.
All right.
Old school country.
Okay.
Who's your guy? And old school might mean different thing to you.
Well, no, I mean, I have a Waylon Jennings tattoo on
on
my chest, but like I'm a huge Waylon fan, and the thing is there was a lot of the unsung guys that were so great. Because like Billy Joe Shaver was amazing, and he wrote so many songs for Waylon Jennings. I mean, so many songs for Waylon Jennings. Or, yeah, Chris Christopherson was big, but Chris Christopherson, like, if we're gonna be honest, he was a part of the Highwaymen, but he was probably the least famous musically.
Well, yeah, I mean, Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson, Christopherson.
But God, the songs that he wrote. Or John Prine. John Prine wrote so many amazing songs for people. David Allan Coe, you know, and like I'm so fortunate because Dallas toured with David Allan Coe for like 30 years. Like, and that's not an exaggeration. It was like 30 years he played with him, and so he just tells me all these stories. But we'll talk about the songwriting stuff of it and like the deep cuts of these guys. And so I feel like it's easy to be like, yeah, man, I love Waylon. And I do love Waylon. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I can, you know, and I'll sit there and sing it with the best of them. But I feel like the 70s was a huge time for writers that didn't get their credit. And I just said guys like John Prine and David Allan Coe, Steve Goodman, dude. Some of the, and it's I don't know if you really consider it country. It's more just like songwritery Americana. But have you ever sat down and listened to Kenny Loggins pre-making songs for movies? Like, I'm not talking Danger Zone and Footloose and all that. No, I'm talking stuff like Danny's Song and all the stuff with like Loggins and Messina, or Shel Silverstein, who wrote so many amazing country songs. I mean, he wrote books and stuff, but he wrote so many amazing country songs. Guys like Dr. Hook. Like, Dr. Hook and the Medicine Show is one of the greatest bands ever. But they never got that tick.
Yeah.
They never got that, you know, I mean, they had their hits and they had a very respectable career, but it wasn't, you know, I love sitting down and watching old episodes of Midnight Special. Like me and JP, I have we have a spot where we were smoking before I was working on the house, and stuff got used there for storage, but we got a 65-inch TV. We will turn on old episodes of Midnight Special and just smoke cigars and watch it. And it's great, you know, there's so many guys that if you start deep diving,
yeah, I'm not.
But I think truly, if I had to pick one guy that was just amazing all around, because he wrote good songs, he sang good, he had he was a great performer, that's Conway Twitty. Like because
Conway Twitty.
Conway Twitty was the first country artist to make country music sexy. He was because like, you know, you had Elvis with rock and roll and like girls threw themselves at the Beatles, but country music wasn't sexy.
Yeah.
And then he came, Conway, dude. No, Conway, the song that I knew that Conway did not care, and it was a popular one, but it wasn't like one of the big ones. But it was "Touch the Hand," because the line of the song is "Touch the hand of the man who made you a woman." He said that in like 75.
Oh, dude.
I love that playing to the audience, and you can do whatever you want. Just because you're a country singer doesn't mean you got to come out there and
if you play a random Conway Twitty song on the radio, somebody gets pregnant somewhere.
Every time. But yeah.
I'm not, obviously I like country music. I love old school country music, and I love country music probably through the mid-90s. Beyond that, it starts getting more pop.
Yeah.
Which I don't like
Black Hawk and Lone Star and Garth.
Yeah, there's I mean, obviously I'm a George Strait fan, King George. If you don't like George Strait, you're probably a terrorist. Um, are you a terrorist? Oh my gosh.
Here's the thing.
I'm not even going to publish this episode.
I don't have like a disdain for George Strait,
Sure.
but everybody props him up.
Well,
And there's just so many that I think if Keith Whitley would have
oh, I love Keith Whitley.
if Keith Whitley would have stayed alive, George Strait would have not made wherever I don't think, but I think the thing is everybody's like, he's got 60 number ones. And I think the thing that people don't realize is once you hit 30, it ain't hard to go to 60 because every song you put out, it'll shoot up.
Yeah.
Now, respect him. Thank you. Like, there's no like, I don't like you. And he's got some killer songs. And I think like the more like the deep cut stuff is better than the other stuff. But I think that George got put on a pedestal and got called King George. And I'm just like, there's so many other ones I'd rather listen to than him.
Sure. I probably stopped keeping up with music around 2000. I listened to a lot of I listened to the things that I like from back when I was in the teens and growing up, you know what I mean? And so like I remember I was dating this girl, and for my birthday she bought me like the Straight Out of the Box.
Yeah.
And like that's all his old stuff. Yeah. It's just phenomenal.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You know, I'm trying to I was just kind of preparing for today, and I clicked on one of your links, and you were covering Keith Whitley. It was on your YouTube channel, When You Say Nothing at All. I mean, that's a good song. It's not my favorite of his. I mean, I really like Miami. I was singing that like while I was doing dishes, waiting for you to get here. I like that one. I like
Would These Arms Be in Your Way?
What's the other one?
There's
I'm No Stranger to the Rain.
Yeah. That one's great. Like, I'm Over You. But see, like, I love Tell Lori I Love Her. Because do you know the story behind that song?
Well, I know him and Lori, what's her name?
Lori Morgan.
Yeah.
So
they were dating whenever he passed.
Very quickly. So he passed because he drank himself to death.
Yes.
That's what he did. So Tell Lori I Love Her was the last song Keith Whitley ever wrote. The only recordings of it is just like terrible, and you can tell it's like some like reel to reel, just like with a microphone set up, just cutting it or whatever. Tell Her I Love Her was written the night he drank himself. And the reason that tape is because it was a demo. It's just an acoustic demo because he died before he could record it. Mm-hmm. And like, once you know that song just is haunting.
Yeah.
And it just, Would These Arms Be in Your Way? Oh, another guy, like, you know, we're talking about musicians from the 70s. I think Jim Croce, just perfect. And it's a shame that he passed as young as he did, because he could have had so much more in him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just love songwriters.
With all the travel in there, I don't know how he died.
The plane crash.
Yeah, see, there's a lot of artists like that die. And obviously you got to get to places.
Yeah.
So the percentage is, you know, well, and that's that's one of the reasons why, you know, we had Waylon. He was supposed to be on the road with Buddy Holly.
Yep.
And there wasn't room for him in the chopper or a plane, whichever one it was. And they all went down, and, you know, Waylon was there. I have a hard time choosing between, I'm not as deep as you for obvious reasons.
Well, just like, that's how, you know, like Randy Rhoads died. It was like a little like plane, and it crashed, but it was I can't remember if it was the bass player or another guitar player. Like when they were touring with Ozzy, like he died in the crash, but like there was another guy in the band that was supposed to be on the plane. It's just wild.
But I have a hard time choosing between Waylon Jennings and Merle Haggard.
Merle had a charm to him. My favorite Merle Haggard album is Misery and Gin. That album. And I mean, like, he's got the other one, like Lonesome Fugitive and like all this stuff. And like, but Misery and Gin is perfect start to finish. And it's just great.
One of my, I love Think I'll Just Stay Here and Drink.
Oh, yeah. That's on the Misery and Gin album, if I'm right.
His other song that I really like.
I love Sing Me Back Home.
Place to Fall Apart.
Yes.
With Janie Fricke.
Yeah.
That's
A Place to Fall Apart, or But yeah, I love Sing Me Back Home. And I have a cover of that one because it's just, because to me, I'm never super philosophical about music. I'm just not. Like I feel like there's people that just like deep dive in it so much. I'm like, just sit down and enjoy it. I don't need, like if you want to like have a connection with it, that's great, but don't spend an hour explaining to me this 3-minute song and trying to over explain it as a writer. Cause I'm like, I promise you don't know what they were talking about.
Sure.
But Sing Me Back Home, to me, is an example of how something can just pull you back. Yeah. Whether it's a song, like that, his is a song, but like I said, my dad did pest control, and I remember like going to his office, and this is so random, but I was in Wisconsin, and the bar owner had a spare bedroom in his house, and I was just staying at the house. And well, of course, being in Wisconsin, it's all Packer stuff, and my dad is a big Green Bay Packers fan. Well, I walk in the spare bedroom. I'm sitting there, and he tells me, hey, but bed's right here, bathroom's here, whatever. He walks away, and I turn my head, and there is a snow globe sitting on a desk that I remember being a little boy, like 3, 4, 5 years old, a Packer snow globe, shaking it up, and it was the exact same one my dad had. And I'm almost 29 years old, and that thing, instantly, I'm in my dad's office.
Yeah, it's transport.
And I love how that song,
Sing Me Back Home.
I think how that song paints a picture of, because the whole thing is Sing Me Back Home, because it's a song his mom used to play.
Yeah.
And it pulls him back to that moment. And I'm like, that's what.
Yeah, there's certain connections. There's a guy, he had a few hits, not many, but Johnny Lee.
Oh, dude, Yellow Rose of Texas, baby.
Well, that's a great song. My favorite song by Johnny Lee is Cherokee Fiddle.
Oh, dude.
That's a banger. But there's Looking for Love in All the Wrong Places.
Oh, yeah.
If I hear that song immediately, no, you're good.
I'm pulling up Johnny Lee because there was a song I'm trying to remember.
I am on my bicycle riding up and down the street where I grew up, just singing that song to the top of my lungs. I love Don Williams, the Gentle Giant.
Oh yeah, good old boys like me is
Tulsa Time. Good old like, come on, man. Let's go. I love
the Yellow Rose, because my favorite album of his is the Yellow Rose album. And my dad, because like when I play, like I have a dress shirt, and like like I said, that's the gold chain, but I'm unbuttoned to about right here because that's all the chest hair. And I told him, I said I'm just modeling that picture, but it was we need to bring back Can't Nobody Love It in the Eyes of Love. Oh God, I'll belt the Eyes of Love when I hear it because I love that song so much.
We need to bring back chest hair. Like,
oh dude, I'm covered.
Yeah, I got plenty. Magnum PI.
Oh yeah.
Or even like the look of like the women in the 80s with the big hair.
Ah, dude, I love it.
Like, bring it back.
I love it, man. I do. Like, I love it because, when I was growing up, I didn't like country music. I was like, I'm not listening to country music. I was a huge, and I still am to this day. And like they say they're done. They say they're done, but if they announce another farewell tour, I'm going. I'm a diehard Kiss fan. Like legitimate, like super hardcore since the 4th grade. I've wanted to be Paul Stanley. I got to see him 4 times.
It's not my speed, but that's cool.
I love him. I love him so much. And, and it's just like instantly, because we sat there during the Nashville show, because it was like one of the last 50, and that confetti went off. And I mean, I got tears in my eyes. And I told Alex, I said, I'm not going to see this again. And, you just have these things that pull you in to make you just remember it. I sat there and I looked at Alex, and like I love Pantera. And we went and saw Metallica with Pantera opening in Atlanta last year. And I'm sitting there listening to Pantera, watching Phil Anselmo go and Zakk Wylde play. And I'm just giddy. And she's like, "You okay?" I said, "I'm 13 right now." I was like,
I don't know. Like I said, I don't keep up with much of the music today. I don't know what's going on.
That's old.
I'm riding with my one of my 17-year-old son's favorite songs, and this makes me happy, is November Rain.
Oh, dude,
Guns N'
because
Roses.
it's a perfect song.
Well, but it's, I don't know, probably every generation thinks like that their music was better than the crap that is being played today. But like whenever he's like, I introduced him the other day to Don't Cry by Guns N' Roses. Oh, come on, that, and in other stuff, like one of a song he really loves is Susie Q by Creedence Clearwater Revival.
If you ever get a chance, you gotta see John Fogerty, like, because he tours, it's great.
Oh, I bet, dude. The guy's killer.
We went and saw him like 2 years ago in Charleston. He's amazing.
So just that I've helped my son like what I consider to be good, really good music.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah, man. And I mean, it doesn't go away. Like I have right now, I have a like 900 roughly vinyl like album collection. Like, I mean, and I've just collected. I mean, it's new stuff, and like, cause like now in the age of streaming, like I'll buy every American Aquarium record on vinyl just because I have all of them. I'll buy every Jason Isbell record. I'll pre-order them every time, and when Will Hogue puts them out, like I'll do it. But like, I also have like deep dove and like I have from 1973 to 1990. I have every original pressing of a Kiss vinyl, the entire discography. And the thing is it's a way to just discover new stuff, and you get to hear it, and you're like, damn, why were they doing this? What about this time was making them do this? And you get to like share and experience it. And I was very fortunate because, like I said, my mom was who got me into like Nickelback. Like Nickelback, Three Doors Down. I love Nickelback.
Oh, my daughter loves Here Without You by Three Doors Down. Dude, that's a killer.
So also like Three Doors Down, Nickelback, Candlebox. Candlebox is one of my mom's favorite bands, and I got the
Far Behind. Come on,
dude. I had the privilege, so I took her to Columbia to the Senate to see them, and then it was Three Doors Down and Candlebox at the amphitheater, and we sat like third row. And I got to sit there and watch my mom smile and dance to that. And it was great because, I mean, I knew all the songs too because I grew up with it. And then my dad loved the like 80s and 90s country, the Hank Jr.'s and the Waylon Jennings and David Coe. My grandmother loved the music of her youth, which was like, the late 50s, early 60s with the Elvis and everything. And my uncle loved grunge. And I grew up just with all of that being poured into me. And then like I found my music, like everybody looks at me like, oh yeah, man, like I can tell you probably like Americana songers. I'm like, I do. I love it. I'm like, you know what I also really loved? I love like boy bands and also like the R&B type boy bands like Boys to Men and all that stuff. Like that's like soul music. And then soul and R&B, love it. And that was the music I found on my own. But and like it's just everything got poured into me, and your kids will be the same way. Alex, she lost her father 6 years ago, but when we go see like all like the legacy like rock bands, and like when we saw Metallica and we saw Kiss, and like we bought tickets, I'm going more to laugh than I am to enjoy the show. We got tickets to Motley Crue, because I got them cheap, but it just makes her cry. Not because the music is anything, but it reminds her of her dad. And so that's what I love. I love all of it, man.
Yeah, it's good. Well, man, this could go on forever. Just like talking about music, and this has been an interesting. To be honest with you, this conversation has been very, very atypical of Sunday Afternoon Smokes, not in a bad way.
Well, I was about to say, I hope you like it.
No, man, I've really enjoyed it. It's been fun, and I'm glad that you got to quote unquote, like lay your hair down and not have to talk about a lot of stuff that normally people want you to talk about.
Oh yeah.
So I hope you've been.
Oh, dude, this has been fantastic. Thank you so much for having me on.
Absolutely. Is there anything that you wanted to cover we didn't talk about?
No, not really. I mean, we're currently working on putting out 2 potential live albums or EPs. I'm hoping those will come out either the end of this year, beginning of next year. I'm currently in the process of writing and picking the songs to do a new record, to do a new studio record next year that I'm extremely excited about just because of the songs that I've been writing for it. This is kind of a personal record for me. And so I'm excited about that. And then, like I said, the print company is growing, and we cannot be more thankful. We're working on ways to do new things. Over the past 2 years, we've pretty much brought everything in house, so there's no real subcontracting. Like we're pretty much doing everything. And
so you're getting the whatever and then put it on there.
Yeah, so it's no more I call somebody and they do it. Like we're handling everything, and we're growing. We just got our first embroidery machine, and I'm learning the delightful process of dealing with embroidery, and we're gonna go even further, and our goal is just to just become a bigger and better company, but while we can still stay at a family like level. And so I mean, anything that we can put your logo on, we'd love to, whether it's shirts, hats, koozies.
Yeah.
I sell panties at my merch table. I make panties. I make everything. I'm not kidding. And so any piece of apparel you want your logo on, I will put it on there, and I'll do it with a smile, and I'll say thank you at the end of it.
Sure. Well, that I know you said that website's coming soon. Obviously, it should be up by the time this episode's posted.
Yes, but if it's not, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok are the best ways for both. So Cowboy Custom Printing, it's Cowboy Custom Printing on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And then it's Jarrett Forrester Music on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok as well. I'm also on Spotify, iTunes. I post regularly on YouTube. I tell people all the time, anywhere you steal music from, that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
So it's not hard to find me, and I'm the one running all of the pages. So if there's anybody that has any questions, whether it's about booking me for a show, whether it's about using my songs for a project, or whether it's about ordering something, when you reach out through those social media platforms or you just message me, you're talking to me. You're not talking to an administrator. You're talking directly to me. And that's how it is now, and that's how it's always going to be, because I gotta have some control.
Yeah. And will that be just cowboycustomprinting.com?
Yes.
Okay. Sweet.
Wonderful.
Well, dude, this has been a lot of fun, man.
Yes, sir. I've loved it.
Yeah, it's been great. I enjoyed it, and thanks for carving out several hours on a Monday night.
Oh yeah, like I said, I came in last night, and I leave on Wednesday, so I'm just glad I was able to. I'll be in Myrtle Beach, Charleston, Conway, Newberry, and Greenville.
Okay.
All this week, so I'm playing 7 shows this week. So I'll be somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, all that stuff I always post fairly regularly on the social media sites.
Yeah. Well, hey man, I appreciate y'all listening to and watching Sunday Afternoon Smokes. If you like the show, the best thing you can do to support it is just give us a follow and share this episode and previous ones. Share it with your friends, share it with your family, share it on your socials, and share it with the world, because Sunday Afternoon Smokes is really sweet. We'll talk to you soon.